hello YouTube and everybody in chat. This is your old pal Nutty, wishing you happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and my favorite, Happy Festivus. Festivus for the rest of us. Well, I'm getting ready to hibernate for the winter, so I've stored all my nuts except two. So let's bring them out right now. Carrie Holzman and Mitch Morrison. Yay! Bye.
Hello everybody, welcome into our latest live broadcast. It's Carrie and Mitch. I'm Carrie Holzman. This
is Mitch Morrison.
Oh, wait a minute. I got the wrong Mitch.
Yeah.
Welcome in everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. It is the 20th of December, 2024. It's Friday.
Happy holidays, everybody. Hope you're doing well.
Deja vu in all of this for some reason.
Yeah.
Glitch in the matrix.
Yeah.
I think.
And Nutty with Happy Festivus.
And a couple of nuts.
Yeah.
Welcome in everybody, and thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We're going to finish up our ASUS ProArt Z890, or at least get it closer. We'll see how far we get today, but we have the ProArt Z890. Well, just not a Z890. We have a ProArt case from ASUS. So we have the ProArt motherboard, the ProArt cooler, and the ProArt case. And thou art ProArt. It came with this bag on this. We didn't put this on here. That's how it shipped in the box. And I thought, well, let Mitch uncover it here, unveil the ProArt. We're getting right to business today.
Now? Well, without further ado.
There we go. This is a monster. Look at this bad boy here.
Full tower, baby.
Yeah, there's plenty of room in there for everything but RGB. Actually, you can put some RGB in here. It's just that there's none on the case itself. In fact, that front grille, you see there's a button. I don't know if the audience can see, but right here is a button on each side. And whenever we turn this case towards the camera, the reflection causes the camera to go out of focus. So we'll try to keep that in mind when we'll try to spin it as least often as possible because it's messing with our autofocus. But if I push these buttons up here, essentially one side releases. Three-handed operation, I think. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. And then this just kind of folds down, up and then down, something like that. Anyway, you can see the ProArt design behind the grill. It's on the motherboard and it's on the sort of a logo for ProArt. And inside, two giant fans right there. Gonna get business done.
Two 200s there. Yeah.
And as for this front glass, somehow that opens. There's a button.
Yeah, don't do it now.
Right back here. I don't think it'll fall out. I think it's on a hinge.
Okay.
Well, no. Maybe not. There's a button back here as well. Push that one. Huh. I thought I saw hinges, but maybe not. This is about the closest thing you have to a carrying handle, thankfully. With Mitch being here, we're able to lift this bad boy up onto the counter here. And then when we put parts in it, it's going to get even heavier. So we have to put the motherboard in, which already, as you recall from earlier versions of the parts of this video, we prepped the motherboard with the ProArt liquid cooler on it already. And so that's got to be mounted in here with the board and the power supply. And we'll see how that goes. I've not worked in one of these ever before, and it's going to get heavy. I can tell you that. I think it should come with wheels on it. We'll put that bottom in there and just click that right on. So I didn't see hinges, huh? I thought I saw hinges. I'm becoming unhinged.
Well, you work on so many cases, they all start to look the same. But this is a full tower that, yeah, is going to take 2 people once we get the guts in there. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Let me stand a little bit this way.
Yeah.
And we can see your whole torso. Now, we say hello to everybody in the chat. In fact, let me just move this window. I don't know why this keeps readjusting. We should be broadcasting in 4K with closed captions. Now, when we do this, we have to be in a low latency mode, and that means that when we talk to when you hear us, instead of 4 seconds, it'll be about 24 seconds. And then when you respond in the chat, we read it and respond. It's another 24 seconds. So it could be a good minute delay between what you're responding to and when we respond back to you. So do keep that in mind. It'll lead to a comedy of errors.
And no buffering.
Yeah, I mean, we've been good the last couple days. I've got other cameras I've been configuring in 4K, and it's been a challenge because we're not just configuring the camera in 4K, but the output of the camera through an HDMI cable to be 4K. And we have multiple cameras from Panasonic, Canon, and Sony, and they all configure differently. And then I have DSLRs that then configure differently on top of that. So I was playing around getting all those set up and working, and finally getting to that stage of setup with Studio C here. Still have a ways to go. I worked a little bit on the audio. I hope it sounds good.
And our voices are coming through okay.
Yeah, you guys let us know how the picture and sound is.
5x5, yeah.
Now, ASUS does have an entire family of ProArt product, and we've got links to everything in the video notes below the video. But just to give you a sneak peek of what's available from ASUS in this category or this family of product, let me jump over to our window capture here. And you'll see we've got the ProArt video card, and they've got a few of these, I believe. This is a 4080 Super. And then if you scroll down, you'll see there's well, where is it? This is a bunch of, there's a ProArt laptop, ProArt mouse, the ProArt motherboard, which we have the Intel version of. This is the case. It looks a lot smaller there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This is the cooler we've already put in, and they even have ProArt monitors. So they're studio grade displays and their workstation performance. These are creator tools. And while you could use this as a gaming PC, you could also use a school bus as a sports car. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying it was designed for a certain purpose, and it's priced accordingly. Now, we did build this with the new Intel Ultra 9 285K, which was very difficult to get. It was like unobtainium. But we did manage to snag one here. And then the parts that we've used in the build, if we just scroll through, that's our ASUS ProArt Z890 Creator Wi-Fi motherboard. You'll see that's a $500 motherboard. But boy, oh boy, does it have some connectivity on this bad boy. I mean, you got ports for days.
Jeez.
Yeah. And then on top of that, it's got 5 NVMe drives in it, 1 main Gen 5 that we're booting from, and then 4 1 terabyte Beijing drives in a RAID 0 array. I don't know why they only show 3 down there. Oh, because that other one's a Gen 5. Well, the one Gen 5 we're using is up top, and then in this corner right here, we've got 4 more 1 terabyte set up to be working together as one single 4 terabyte RAID 0 drive. And then on the back of the board, we've got a 2.5 gig and a 10 gig wired network connection with Wi-Fi 7 already built in. So there's no holds barred here. No corners were cut. And moving over to the next link, what do we have? Oh, the cooler. So this is the ProArt LC. I guess that stands for liquid cooler, huh? 360. That's 360 millimeters. That's 120 millimeters per fan times 3. And then the fans have metal frames on them, which I've never seen before. So if you missed part 1 of the video, you should definitely check it out. There is a little LED here that you can install software and have it represent resource availability, CPU temp, stuff like that.
So the LC wasn't for little Carrie? I'm just kidding.
Little Carrie? Is there a big Carrie?
Oh, yeah.
I ended up having to get the CPU from B&H Photo, so that's why.
Look at that bad boy. Jeez.
629, waiting list only. Not bad for a terrible CPU, according to everybody on the internet. It's so terrible. It's so terrible you can't even buy it because it's sold out. Are you hearing a little hypocrisy?
I don't know how you were able to snag one. So
because they're so terrible, nobody's buying them. That's why they're all sold out.
Okay, yeah.
I don't understand.
Makes perfect sense. Okay.
Now, I put 32 gigs of Team Group RAM because the G-Skill RAM we bought didn't work. The replacement G-Skill RAM we bought didn't work.
Okay.
And now I'm suspicious if there's a RAM compatibility. There shouldn't be. People talk about the QVL, or the Qualified Vendor List for RAM. We used to need that before we had a thing called standards. As long as the RAM meets the JEDEC standards, the board's supposed to meet those same JEDEC standards, and you should no longer need a QVL list. Not only that, the QVL list is done while the motherboard's in production, and it's never revisited again. So a lot of RAM they test, and this takes a long time, is RAM they've tested on other boards in the months prior. Some of that RAM isn't made anymore. New RAM has come out that hasn't been tested. So the QVL, all that's verifying is we've checked this RAM and verified this RAM. This specific model and size of RAM works. If it's not on the QVL list, it should still work. It just means they haven't tested it. If it follows all the standards, the RAM and the board, should be no reason for a QVL list.
But for DDR5, what do I know? But I think that's a great price.
Well, there's no RGB on it. That's why it seems so cheap.
Oh.
Now, if we come over here, as I mentioned, I put 32, but I'm going to put 64 in there.
Okay.
I was trying to get 96, and I just can't find it at a reasonable price this time of year.
Yeah.
At least at Amazon. So we'll probably replace that with 96 later. But for right now, we've got 32 in there. We'll upgrade it to, it looks exactly the same, by the way.
Okay.
So we might just leave the 32 and I'll switch it out to 64 later. Those fanxiang drives I mentioned, they're 5% off the $80. We got 4 of those totaling 4 terabytes as a RAID 0 array. That'll be a data drive or a scratch drive. Now the case is really pretty good value at $229. That's a lot of case for the money. And it supports a vertical GPU mount. And that's more or less what we're going to go for at the end of the build. This is what I want it to mostly look like, minus the GPU.
Okay.
Now, Mara will be using this for work, and she does already have a GPU, not the ProArt. She's got that 3090 Ti will pop in there, and maybe we'll put it in vertically. The reason I don't like to put graphics cards in vertically is because all the slots behind it are blocked.
Right.
So if we want to add any cards back there,
yeah.
that card, the video card, will be in the way. But we'll do whatever Mara wants to do with that. Finally, over here is the power supply we're using. I thought these were a really good deal. At $169.99, I thought, it's a little bit much. But then I came down here and I saw they had used ones, which are just basically returns coming from Amazon, not from some other third party. And they were like $10 cheaper, like $133.
And are these gold or platinum?
These are not platinum.
No, gold.
It is a 1,000-watt, fully modular, gold. Mitch is referring to the 80-plus rating, if you look down there.
Yep.
That's the power efficiency rating. It's got a 10-year warranty.
Whew.
Right? So whether you're buying it as a return product or a new product, the warranty is still the same. It says it's got military-grade components, whatever that means. Dual ball bearing fan, axial tech fans, whatever that means. Printed circuit board coating, whatever that means. But nonetheless, it should be good, and it's not a very huge power supply. Physically, it kind of sits the dimensions of a normal power supply. So you don't, this is more important when you have a smaller case. With the ProArt case, it doesn't matter so much, but I'm good with it being smaller.
Okay.
So what I did is I went on Amazon. I bought 4 of these, returned drives. We already unboxed and used one of them that wasn't quite put back correctly, but it was missing the power cable. It included some SATA cables for some reason. Not power cables, those were there, but SATA data cables that usually come with a motherboard. So whoever bought it before me put some of the wrong stuff in. All the foam and packing was missing, and the power cable was missing. But I've got extras, and for saving the $30, I thought worth it. And it works great, nothing wrong with it. This is one of those models where the fan only comes on when necessary. So I was a little concerned. Usually, in my experience, power supplies have a switch that'll say hybrid or eco to turn that feature on or off. Here, that feature's on whether you like it or not. So when I didn't see the fan spinning, I'm like, well, maybe that's why that person returned it.
But then you put some load on it.
And then it fired up just fine. And it's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. All right, so when you buy from Amazon, when you pay attention to who the returns are handled by or who you're buying it from, you know, we've got all the way till the end of January to return it. So if we want to give it as a Christmas gift, or we just don't have time to look at it, we can return it free of charge back to Amazon for a full refund. So there's no risk. If you're a first-time builder, maybe stay away from used parts. For that very reason, like I've got spare things hanging around like power cables. You probably don't. And that would be enough, perhaps, that if you had to go and buy the power cable, whatever you saved buying it used, you'll spend more getting the missing parts. Normally, most of the return parts that I buy from Amazon are 100% complete. But if not, you've got that peace of mind. You have a normal 30-day warranty on those. All right, let's get back over to camera one. Here we are. And then let's jump over to the chat room and see what... I just closed my window. Darn it. Let me open that back up. Move that back over here. Nothing like closing the window I need to look at when we're live. Looks like we got about 250 people joining us.
Hey, hey.
And let's see what they're saying in the chat. Let's say hello. We have got... Well, go ahead.
Yeah, no, just hope everyone's, you know, having a great Friday. I am. The weather out here is fabulous, isn't it? I mean, it's just to die for. It's great motorcycle riding weather. And I took the bike out yesterday, yeah, for a little one up to Cave Creek. Nice. Stopped at my local Dairy Queen for a nice peanut butter parfait. Not to give them a plug, but
want to live your life for one day.
Yeah,
man.
very nice.
Ron Barnish joins us. Says hello. There's Mortant 1210. You want to continue?
Andy Kane, of course. Yeah, Mark Gaines, Jonathan. There's John Paul Bacon, Mark Leibowitz. Hey, Planet Cryos with a $2.
What does he say?
Contribution. No.
What does Mark say?
If that opening means no more squirrel for a while, I'll happily send you some from Chicago. The darn things never quite go away here. Yeah, I got a sister in Chicago, and those squirrels are pretty pesky. Yeah.
I must be from Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, Detroit. It's kind of close enough.
Yeah.
Planet Cryos with a $2 super chat says, I guess I have to say hi again. Yes, if you said anything before,
yeah,
we'll need you to say it again. If you contributed earlier and we didn't see it, just let us know. No. A super shout out to thank you for those giving us super chats, and of course all our members. With $2 from Planet Cryos, thank you, Planet Cryos. Mark Gaines joins us from Northern Ireland. Craig Dowler says he's seeing 2160. Perfect. Our friend Charlie Purdy with a $10 super chat says, hello, everyone. Happy holidays. And who else do we see in here?
Barry Klein. Who else? I'm wearing my short eyeballs. Even
Bajing guy.
Yeah.
Joseph Hawkins joins us from New Zealand, I think. Thomas MacT says hello. There's also Bryce Hoskins, or Hosking. Luke Greenia. Hello, all from Vermont, he says. And scrolling quickly here. Alan with a Y says hello.
Okay.
So I guess his name's Yalan. Let's see. Zub-Zero says hello. Jonathan's hanging out with us here. Nick Caffrey from the Netherlands with a €5 super chat says seasonal greetings to Carrie, Mara, and Mitch. This is a monster build.
A lot of people don't like full towers. I mean, if you've got the space under your desk or next to your desk, I like them. I mean, I have two mid towers, but a lot of people go, I don't like it. It's too big. But I'm like, yeah, but the power that you can put in this bad boy. So
anybody who complains it's too big is like saying the music's too loud.
Yeah,
it's not for you.
Yeah, what'd you say? All right. Yeah,
too many Toto concerts.
Yeah, that's true. And one more, August 23rd. Not that that would be my last, but yeah.
August 23rd are in Phoenix?
I'm going to see them in Vegas at the Fountain.
What about in Phoenix?
They're the day before.
Are you going to be there the day before?
No, because I'm actually spending the summer in Colorado with my
You're
brother.
going to be in Colorado for the summer? Oh,
yeah.
You're going to get out of the 110-degree weather and go to Colorado?
I told my brother I can't, after 20...
Betrayal.
Yeah, after 21 years...
You're going to leave me here to suffer?
I can't take these, Chad. I just can't take the summers anymore. And so
Too old for that crap.
So my brother's like, come up, get out of there for June, July, and August. So we'll be flying then from Denver to Vegas and staying.
Oh, you're going to fly?
Yeah, and stay. It's only a 2-hour flight, and then stay at the Fontainebleau where they're playing.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. So my brother's like, is that a new hotel? I'm like, I'm pretty sure it just opened, if not this year, certainly late last year.
They had trouble getting it open?
Yeah.
The Fontainebleau is that really super fancy high-end hotel in Miami where all the movie stars used to hang out in the 1950s.
And James Bond filmed part of it. Yeah.
Yes, a couple of movies have been filmed. James Bond, probably most famous.
Yeah.
And then Cronus had their summit, their very first summit, which was 2018.
Did you go?
I was there in Miami.
Yeah.
And then the next year we had the pandemic. So maybe it was 2019. Whatever the year the pandemic was, Cronus did their summit there, but then they wanted to do this every year and they couldn't because of the pandemic for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
And they finally started to bring it back.
Yeah.
But I'd never heard of the Fontainebleau. And boy, oh boy, is it hoity-toity fancy. I was looking for pretzels and chicken nuggets, and they were like...
No. Right next to the skating rink.
Right. It's a lot of Ferraris and yachts and people flaunting. Let's see, what else? Essential Working Too Hard says hello. There's Mark Baggett, Kevin Williams, and Gerhard Huff joins us in the chat room. Let's see, Dan Nilsson says hello from Sweden. Philip Jones saying hello.
Hello, Philip.
Thomas Mac T, David J. Martinez, Dazzle, Curtis, and Mick Woods all say hello. There's Darren Gilholm, as well as Andy Windbridge. Brian Madonna from West Virginia. Richard Schneiderman says hello from Bangor, Maine. It's so cold here.
Bradley likes my Toto shirt. Well, this one's 57. I've got
shirt number 57.
Yeah, I've got 2 sweatshirts, which made 58 and 59. So just
he numbers them both.
Just one more. I've been telling Carrie that for a year. Just one more.
No, you said no more. Yeah, after this, no more
to make an even 60. Well, then I'll have one for every day for 2 months. Then I can different.
Well, if there's an apocalypse, you're good to go for 2 months.
Yeah, or I'm on a sitcom. And I'm a character, because then I can take all them to wardrobe and go, don't let anybody steal them.
So you're on a sitcom now, I gotta tell you.
But my character will just wear only Toto shirts.
Let's see, who else have we... Gregory Howard joins us. Bill Thome says hello. There's... thought I just saw somebody in here. Mike says hello. He says, I got a B-Link i3 mini PC. I use it just for DJ. I have no problems with it. I'm really amazed by it. I think a lot of people are really blown away by how powerful. They assume because it's small. Right. Dealt with that my whole life.
Yep.
I had to kick a lot of butts. Thing One joins us, says, that is a funny looking cabinet. I like it. Charlie Beamer says, happy holidays, everyone. Season's greetings. Rick Lakes joining us from Minnesota. Silver Screen Wisdoms says, viewer from Sweden. I've been here watching you since 2013. Wow. Well, I've never seen you before, so thank you for hanging out in their chat. If you guys are watching this live and you're not participating in our chat room, you're missing out.
Y'all jump in and be friendly.
Just say hello. All you got to do, just pop in and say hello. We don't know you're watching if you don't do that. And you'll be surprised at the friends you'll make, and the friendliness of our community is unlike any other of this size on the internet. And we'd love for you to be a part of it. All you got to do is be nice. It's pretty easy. We'd love to have you in there. Amazing Airshow Video says, Carrie, what is better or safer for long-term storage? Mechanical drives or SSDs? Well, neither. If you have long-term storage, I would suggest you check on it regularly. Nothing lasts forever, and things happen. SSDs get stolen, lost, dropped, have things spilled on them. Same thing happens with mechanical drives. So good luck to you. Make up your mind, decide what you want to do, and then check it regularly, and you'll be fine. Or just go to cloud storage and just pay for that, and they'll maintain the drives on their side.
But didn't you tell me once you either had a USB or an SSD that you hadn't loaded in like 10 years or whatever?
It's sitting at Studio A. I've got like four,
and then you plugged it
4.
in, and you're like, I don't know whether the day, and it just boom, it was just
the
right
internet's so worked up over this nonsense.
Was that a USB or like an SSD that was sitting in a drawer? It's an internal.
So OCZ is the company that made the first SSDs that I bought, SATA SSDs.
Okay.
And they were full size. They were the size of a hard drive, a 3.5-inch drive instead of a 2.5-inch drive.
Right.
So it's pretty unusual to see those.
Okay.
And those were the first ones I used for my customers. And then my customers needed to upgrade because they got too small, too slow. And so I kept them, and they're still sitting on it. It's fine. Nothing.
Right.
We can plug them in at any time. There's no such thing as data that just falls away on its own. I mean, eventually the whole Earth will fall away on its own. I mean, if you want to play that game, the sun will burn out, the universe or our galaxy will die.
But you hadn't plugged that in years, you said, and you're like,
the last time
you
I
were just
plugged
curious, and you're like, I'm curious, and just it fired right up.
The last time I plugged it in, let me tell you how the internet works here and why it's so messed up. People like myself are led to believe a lot of nonsense online because people won't shut up. So, in other words, rather than speak the truth, they just repeat what somebody else said, assuming it's true. Then that person hears it, then they repeat it back, and yet nobody's proven anything. So all this false information goes out, and I'm a victim of being a sheep and doing what everybody else was doing, believing that because these drives had been off for a number of years, that the data would magically just vanish into thin air. So all of this is theory. Right? Like these latest SSDs we tested yesterday, they have a lifespan of 171 years. How do you think they tested that? That's a theory.
Yeah.
There's so many reasons you're going to want to replace it. But nonetheless, not to get off on this subject for too long because we want to get to our build. The drives, I asked the chat room, since everybody believes that the data just magically disappears on its own, I said, I've got a drive in the office. This was at Studio A, so however many years ago that was. I said, who wants to make a bet with me that the data's still on these drives? I haven't fired them up since I took them out of my clients years earlier. And then people made their bets, and I hooked it up, and the data's still there. There's a guy making a video where he's going to test them.
Okay.
I want you to understand how flawed this whole... This is such a stupid... I've seen some pretty stupid things on the internet, but this one's pretty stupid. I mean, no disrespect to the guy making the video. I just don't think he really thought this through. So he's got a couple of SSDs, and he's like, all right, we're going to check this one in 1 year. Right? We're going to put all the same data on these SSDs, and we're going to check this one in 2 years. Okay, the minute you plug the SSD in, you're recharging it, right? If the charge is dissipating. So you can't just keep plugging the same drive in. Every time you plug it in, the clock starts back to 0. So you would need 10 drives. Think about this. Copy all the same data to them. Make sure that the data verifies. Then put them on a shelf and mark one as year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6, year 7, year 8, year 9, year 10. Now, by the time you get to year 10, nobody's going to want that drive anymore. Nobody cares. We might have moved on to holographic crystals at this point, or holographic grass. Grass? It's one way or the other, whichever you can afford. All I'm trying to say is, by the time you get the data's obsolete. Now, could it go 20 or 30 years? The gentleman doing the test will likely die of old age or an illness before he'll ever reach, or she'll ever reach, that conclusion, negating the whole point of the exercise. Because one day you and I will expire, and we will likely expire long before modern day storage will. And until somebody can prove that, instead of speculate and theorize based on research, it's all just conjecture and nonsense designed to fuel your fear and anxiety to get you to spend more.
And by then we'll have storage chips on our head. I'm just saying.
Storage what? I need one now.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
that was the answer to your question. All right.
It was a long answer, but for me that was a short answer.
All right.
we are happy to address your questions here before we get rolling. So if there's any other questions, I will try to answer them quickly, if I even know the answer.
Keyword there is if.
There's our friend Buster, Peter Laycock, joining us all the way from Scotland. Always good to see you, my friend. He's got the train PC all set up.
Yeah.
He had to put it all together, you know. He did a better job than I did.
Ah, did he send you a photo?
Yeah, we shared him the other
Nice.
day. It's fantastic. He does good work. I should mail him this and let him finish it for us. It only costs $10,000 to mail.
Yeah.
Let's see. Looking through the chat. Mark Leibowitz, who runs a computer repair business out of Chicago, he says a client brought me a couple of desktops old enough to have E-IDE, extended IDE hard drives.
I remember those.
I think that's what they used to for. They asked me to get the data from them. I plugged them into an adapter. Both fired right up, and it was like 1997. Yeah, I mean, there's all this theory. I could step outside and I could be hit by a meteor that falls from the sky. You could. I mean, the theory's right.
With any luck? All right.
Be a little one.
Yeah, okay.
Just ow, something hit me. That happens so many times.
Yeah.
It's a lot of space junk. Let's see, anything else? Mark also continues to say, I have a 1998 compact desktop with its original hard drive in Windows 98. The power supply is flaky, but it supplies the power, and the computer works just fine. Yep. Yeah. Well, that doesn't create clicks, and it doesn't create any controversy, anxiety, or fear. That's why that information is not widely known. If you can be more negative and more fearful that you can drive anxiety to your viewers, you'll get more views and you'll sell more products. It's up to the viewers to decide you don't want to be manipulated that way and to look for actual evidence proving what's being said. Otherwise, it might as well be a dog barking in the middle of the night. It's just noise. But you decide on your own. Richard wants to know my thoughts on the drones over New Jersey. Some people are playing with some other people. All I can say on that one is when I was growing up in the 80s, we used to tell some of the kids that we didn't have much respect for that the word gullible wasn't in the dictionary. And they'd go look it up and prove us wrong, and then we'd laugh, and it would take them a minute to get a, Here's what's happening. People buy drones. People belong to groups online or in whatever. Private Facebook groups, Reddit groups, WhatsApp groups, et cetera, and they go, hey, let's all start flying our drones and watch everybody freak out. It'll be hilarious. And then the people freak out. They laugh harder and say, let's do it some more. That's all this is.
Didn't you say
you're being messed with?
Didn't you say earlier you wished that this had wheels?
Yeah.
Looking at it now, it does have wheels.
What? You're right. It has wheels. But only on the back, right?
Yeah,
so you can lift up the front.
but no handle to then lift up to roll them on these wheels.
Well, I guess maybe you grab it up here
and then roll it.
And then you pick up the front of it and then you roll it
on those. So
I never even noticed that.
Yeah.
Nothing here though, right?
No.
There you go. Anyway, stop letting people manipulate you. Think for yourself. Look for proof. As long as you've got to use your imagination to find an answer, you're wrong. Like that's an unhealthy, for me, it's not a mentally good place to be every single day, is all of this anxiety over just creative imaginations. Now, if you want to write a book or use that imagination to paint a picture and use that positively, I'm supporting that 100%. But if you want to use that to just talk about it some more so you can spread that like a pandemic, well, I'd encourage you not to, but you do what you're going to do. All right, anyway, let's just take a look back here.
I'm getting very excited.
Are you?
To build this, yes. So,
Mark Leibowitz said the word naive is not in the dictionary either. Quick, get me a dictionary. I don't think he's right.
Yeah.
Barry Klein says, it is too. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
Point taken.
Yeah.
All right. Now, how do we want to do this? I mean, we need a lot of space.
Well, which you want to take both the glass and the side panels off to get access? What do you want to do? I mean, I think
let's start with the side panel here. So I've already shown you how to take it off. Do you remember? Or did I put Mitch to work today? push the button.
Yeah, no hinges and lift up probably.
That's it. And I'll just set this over there. No, I won't do that.
No.
I'll put it
Look
over
at these
here.
nice Velcro,
look at that.
Velcro-y
Cable management,
cable
Velcro
management
ties.
thing. Very nice.
Look at how much room you've got back there. Wow.
And then we
That's
got
bigger than some New York apartments.
Yeah.
Look at all the hard drive space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2.5-inch drive.
It's nice that you can count
With
it.
the thumb down. I can't go much higher than 10 without taking off my pants.
Okay.
Now, down below, we've got space for 1, 2, 3, 3.5-inch drives. It looks like there's a drive sled.
What are those?
These are metal.
the old
These
big
are
ones.
metal. Those aren't plastic.
Just like
I've never seen a metal drive
just
sled.
like the plate in your head. All right, so there we go.
I thought it was plates.
Yes,
plural.
plates. Yeah, I won't tell anyone. All right.
Fine
I
china.
just did. All right.
All right, we're gonna put that down here.
Okay, and what about the glass? Very
Oh,
delicate.
look at here. We've got a panel here that comes off and a panel here that comes off.
Okay.
What do you suppose that's for? This will get us back behind the CPU for removing or installing a cooler. That's what I'm guessing. And this one down here, what is that covering up? Let me see. Oh, those are on tight. I don't know what that's for. It doesn't seem to hold any purpose whatsoever. Oh, it's going to hold a 3.5-inch drive. So that's drive number 4. I can tell because of the holes right up.
Not a 3.5, a 2.5.
3.5.
Oh.
See how far apart the holes are?
Gotcha. Yeah,
On a
I was just,
2.5.
just testing you. Yeah, right there.
You see a 2.5?
Yeah, right
See
there.
the size difference?
Yeah.
See how far apart these holes are
okay.
versus those holes?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to be a blind man to not see it. Now you say, who said that?
Yeah.
So that's what that is.
Okay.
So we don't even need to keep that in there. Like if you were trying to lighten the weight, how much do you think that weighs?
I don't know. Gram.
How do you know how much a gram weighs?
I don't know.
What are you doing on the weekends?
Yeah, don't.
Anyway, you know, in car racing, they would everything they can get. But how did this go on? It goes on this way.
Yeah.
That sits in a. It's got little tabs that sit in a slot, and then we just tighten that back up. And I realize people probably can't see what I'm doing, but right there, 3.5-inch drive. Looks like a 3.5-inch drive can go on here. So that's now 5 3.5-inch drive bays. So that's not just there to protect the back of the board, but clearly it is giving you access to where the CPU would be located to put a back plate on or change a cooler out, while at the same time giving you a spot for a drive. And that makes sense because otherwise, why would you even need this piece, right? You just cut the hole like most cases. So that's 5 3.5-inch drives. Now there's a button here. What does this do? Oh, look at that. It's a little cable management track.
Very nice.
So you can run your cables right into this little track and then close the door. Close the door. Now, with these 2 buttons on the side, just pop this bad boy off one more time. Let's set this down somewhere precariously where it can fall. I mean, not set that down.
And then the glass.
Now,
but not
looking around this way, if you press the button that's right up back, again, it's right there. I'm going to press it. You catch the glass. You ready?
Oh, no. It's this button releases the glass. You ready?
Oh, that was for the front.
Yeah, yeah.
So now the button you're going to press,
Releases the glass.
that's back here.
Ready?
Yeah, go ahead. No screwdriver.
And just lift, I think.
You got it. How heavy is that?
It's
Significant. It's like a refrigerator shelf. Tempered glass. It's got this nice ProArt design here on the bottom. And I think, no, there's no hole.
so that's just for show. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done that before.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just trying to see if there's a hole. Yeah. No, it's just for looks. It doesn't. Okay. It's a solid piece of glass. It would have been neat though.
Yeah.
Well,
and there's the inside chat. Getting this bad boy.
I bet it's a little lighter now with that glass off of there.
Yeah, those have got to be 200 fans.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
and then we've got a fan in the back here. Is that another 200?
No, that's
a 140.
Yeah, that's 140.
Do we have fans up top? I don't think so.
No dice.
Does the top come off? I see something. Wait a minute. What's this?
Ah.
Aha. Then your filter.
No filter.
Oh, there's a little button. Yeah, it's a filter.
Oh, okay.
Right? And it's got a little button. This isn't, a lot of times you have that little plastic tab sticking out for like a slide out filter on a frame. But this is actually a little button that releases the lid. I love figuring this out on our own. Now, if we tilt this down, and I don't know if you can do that, but can you tilt that towards the camera, the top, so they can see how strong Mitch is today?
Had my Wheaties.
That's where our liquid cooler radiator is going to go, right up here, and we can sandwich the fans. We'll put the fans in this side and the radiator on that side, and when we tighten the fans to the radiator, it'll attach it to the case. And that means we don't have to attach the radiator on both sides, so that's pretty nifty. And now if you go ahead and bring that back up again, there's something I just saw that's been in front of my face the whole time, and I didn't point it out because I didn't notice it. But right up at the top, you've got a really subtle built-in fan controller right up there. So adding more fans to your build is going to be really easy. It's not like this circuit board that's sticking out across the edge that you've got to work around in your cable management and try and make your rear panel fit. It's all neatly tucked away right underneath this lip where all these cables are going. And I don't know how well the camera lighting is picking that up, but maybe if I shine a little light, isn't that an ELO song?
Yeah.
And shine a little light on that. Trying to see right there where those cables are all going up. We have 3 more fan headers there. And then there's already stuff plugged in up here, which is probably for, I don't know. Up on top, let's tilt that down one more time. I want to point out the ports that are on top of this. You did have your Wheaties, right?
Yes.
All right. Lots of USB up here.
2 2.0, 2 3.0s, and 1 USB Type-C.
Somebody's been paying attention.
Yes.
I wonder what the switch on the front.
Yeah, that was kind of.
That must do something with the fans, maybe? I don't know. Let's bring it back down. I just noticed something else here. 2 things I noticed. One, you have these vent hoods, and these are designed to hide your cables. So the motherboard's going to be here, and the cables will tuck away behind this. It looks like a vent. And those usually come off, so you can work around them a lot easier while you're building. And there's also a GPU support bracket, a big one, right here, that moves up and down and left and right, so that your GPU doesn't sag. Not that it hurts the GPU, it just doesn't look very appealing. Now back here, I don't know what this is. Oh, it's got a little keyway on it. What does this do? You know, I don't see how you could mount a GPU in that vertically, because we don't have any vertical slots here. So how the heck did they do that? Oh, you know what? Maybe this whole piece comes out. Some cases you can remove this whole piece and there'll be a spare one in here. Is that what they've done? We've got nylon zip ties. We've got some plugs, I don't know why. Some screws. We've got whatever this is for, which looks like, I don't know what this does. Could read the directions, but more screws. And then what's this? Okay, so this has got to be your vertical GPU mount. And so the way this would work is you would take this piece out, and then this piece would go in like that, essentially down towards the bottom. And if I remove these slot covers, you'll see that it replaces them so that they go up and down. And so you'd have to just take out I'm imagining only the bottom half of this comes out and the top two stay in. I got to get my glasses so eyes can see. This is why I don't need a manual. You should be able to just look at it and tell. And while I'm looking at it, what the heck is this little door for? It says to open it this way. What does that do? See, it says open and it's pointing towards me. Open what?
Don't break it.
Open sesame?
Yeah. I prefer salami, but
oh, I see what that is. That looks like a little door that releases these slot covers.
Ah.
So you can get in and out for the first 3 slots. So these first 3 slots, instead of securing these with screws, this little foldable piece here locks in. So I guess you push it in, and then you close it, and then you tighten that little screw down right here. That's easy. I like that. Once again, no screwdriver needed to swap your video card out, or whatever you might have in the first 3. And then those bottom 4 you can replace with this little 2-bay. So obviously a graphics card no wider than 2 slots. It's going to fit there. And that's just an option that you can consider if you want that vertical GPU mount. So there you go. I mean, for the money, you're getting an awful lot for the money here. This could easily be $350. So for $100 less than that, I feel like it's a pretty good deal. And then finally, there's something about Mexico in here. I don't know what it is. All right, let's just put all that back in and set all this aside because we need some room
for that motherboard and radiator.
Yeah, because that's pretty big, pretty big. Hey, Planet Kraus with a $5 super chat said, if these PC cases get any taller, Kerry, we're going to have to get you some high heels.
He's already wearing them.
I was going to say he doesn't even know.
No, yeah.
Platforms, baby. That's what I'm talking about. All right. It's nice of you, though, to assume they weren't already on.
Yeah.
And I'm on an Apple box, too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Is it probably, I mean, we may have to move because we want to put that on the side because when you get it, you want to put it, you can't do it this way and show everyone. We almost
not with the radiator.
No. So
maybe we do the power supply first.
Okay.
Do you see that power supply right there? It says 1000 W. It's just 1 high, not 2 high.
Yeah.
You're taller than me.
You want this one?
No.
This one?
Yes. You see that one you're grabbing has clearly been opened. Somebody had it. The other 2 look brand new. And I want to know, is everything in this box? Because remember, we ordered that returned from Amazon for about $30 savings.
This is heavy. Welcome to the gun show.
That's heavy. 1,000 watts, man.
So you have opened this, and it was missing the. You have it.
That was a different one.
Okay, then I'll stand back. All right, you go ahead and open.
Is it supposed to be ticking?
Okay.
Because it came with a free clock.
Yeah.
Oh, look, they use Scotch tape, cellophane tape. They didn't even use box tape. Clearly, it's been opened before. Hey, we got the foam this time. I mean, it's clearly been opened because somebody put rubber bands around the cables. That's not necessarily a bad thing, as long as we have all the cables.
Yeah.
I did get a power cable this time. Huh, no one even took that out of the bag, it looks like. That looks like original. Look how thick that is compared to a regular PC cable.
Zip ties.
Are there screws in there too? And we got the screws this time too.
Okay.
A lot of them. This makes up for the last one. Usually you only get 4. Looks like they've given us 8. Okay. Well, that's even, Steven. And then the power supply itself, let's see, does it look like it's been hurt or damaged in any way, scratched up, nicked, or any reason for somebody to return it? Look, they always leave the tape on the bottom. Good. Glad they did. New for me now. What do you think? Does that look okay?
Yeah. Pretty heavy. Like you said, just your standard on and off switch. Fully modular.
So I'm not sure how many cables we're supposed to have, but I do know we need a motherboard cable. I don't care about Molex cables. I don't care about SATA cables. This is GPU power. Definitely going to need that. Actually, I think the 3090 uses this GPU power, the ATX 3.
Okay.
Not this one. And then this is what? Another ATX. Oh, we have two ATX 3. Is that right? What is this? That's ATX 3. This is PCIe motherboard. So clearly they use the motherboard cable because it's missing its wire tie.
Mm.
Yeah, it looks like we have. Oh, this one goes ATX 3 from regular PCIe connector on the back of the power supply. So this is like an adapter. You go to the back of the power supply with the two traditional PCIe connectors to an ATX 3. But if the power supply, or maybe the other way around, I'm not sure. But this one is ATX 3 on both sides, which this power supply will support. And then finally, these cables here, these are going to be for CPU power. And we need two of them. And look, the only two cables that were unwrapped in the bag were the motherboard power and CPU power. Whoever owned this never took the wire ties. These are all factory folded. I know factory folded when I see it. These were never touched by the prior owners, so they didn't have this very long.
Okay.
They likely were building their own system. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know how to properly diagnose. And it's part starts. You know, you just start sending things back until you figure it out. They threw the parts cannon at it. Fire again. Does that fix it?
Their loss is your win.
That's what I'm saying. You guys can really
right.
get some good deals. But if you're new to system building, maybe don't buy the used parts because they might require a little technical experience to understand if anything's missing or not right. It's not worth the 20 or 30 bucks. But if you're experienced and you know what you're getting yourself into and you're willing to, you know, potentially slow your build down, because if you have to send something back, you're going to have to wait to finish until you have another one.
I always remember fan down.
You want the fan down because this fan is bringing air in, not blowing air out. And then that, you want to put that in for me? Put the fan down. Let's turn it a little bit that way so folks can see what you're doing.
Well, it won't fit in this way, so I got.
Why not?
It's too.
Show us.
So I got to go around.
Well, that's pretty interesting. What if we bring it around that way? Can you? That way? Nope. We are blocked on both sides.
Oh, got a shroud. Yeah.
He's trying that way. Hey, listen.
No.
Good for you for trying.
Yeah. So what are we gonna do?
Well, couple of different things. One is, does the motherboard tray come out? I know the power supply shroud comes out.
Yeah.
We already know that.
Right.
Let's just take a look at back of the motherboard tray and see if it's seated in there somehow.
I think it'd be easier to just yank.
Looks like it's riveted.
Yeah, take the shroud off.
I'm sure that's what you're supposed to do. Now the shroud, I see a screw here and here, and I also see a shroud here. It's a shroud over a shroud.
Okay.
And this shroud, this one here is covering up like your hard drives and such, so it's not unpleasant to look at in the case. Oh, that folds up entirely. It's like a little kickstand if you don't want, people can't see what I'm doing. This right here, the GPU bracket, it swivels and it opens and closes. That's pretty neat, and you can take it out entirely if you want to as well. So as far as these go, we're just going to remove a few screws. There's two that hold this in and that one in. This one goes over that one, so this one comes out first, this one comes out second. And I can tell you that just by looking at it. It's one screw holding that one in, not two. And 2 screws hold the bigger one in. This big one's metal, this is plastic. And we're going to have a lot of things on the table, so I don't want to lose these screws. I don't want to knock them off. I'll put them up here, where that way when they fall off, we'll never find them.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay, with that done,
This comes off first.
there's
Plastic.
one hood scoop.
And then this one's metal. This one's metal. This is in
We're
the
missing a screw?
No, it's just this is in the way. How do I?
What about these holes? Can you push the wrap it with the, and might have something else holding it in. Should slide easily, don't force it.
Could it be this one? I got a
What do you
screw
see?
over here.
Yeah, I'll bet you that's the one. I think.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be these. That's for the cage.
Yeah,
That
looks
could,
like we do have
Yeah.
one screw right there.
Right
So
here.
a total of 3 holding that shroud in. We'll pop that bad boy out. Now all the screws are the same shape and size, so you don't have to put them exactly back, but you know which ones go to the shroud. Oh, that slid. You probably have to tilt it. You see there's a little cutout right there? These shrouds, if you have any difficulty, they're very flexible, and you might have to just bend it a little bit. Just not bend it out of shape, just spring it back a little to get it away from the edge.
Fan down. And it's
Fan
got
down.
and it's got, they chat can't see, it's got a nice,
It's got
kind of
rubber feet that keep it lifted up a bit, so it's not working as a vacuum cleaner.
fan down, there we go. Push it to the back there. It's cattywampus, but the,
Cattywampus.
there we go. Beautiful. Just like that, sir?
Let's find out. We have the screws in here, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't use your automatic on that.
Why not?
Well, you don't want to over wrench them, you know, even though you've got the
This ain't my first rodeo.
the clutch on 3. Not 1, not 2, but 3.
How many screws did they end up giving us? Oh, there's only 5.
Okay.
I thought there were more in there.
Yeah.
So it's just, we need 4 and they give you 1 extra. The cable ties, we'll use those when it gets to that point of the build. I'll put them down there for now. And
So you say
that
you
way.
use the electric, not the,
Yeah, first
not the
drawer.
normal? Oh, first one. Okay.
all right. We're gonna go 1 corner. Now let me go to the other corner. Then I'm gonna go to the other corner. Well, actually, about 1 inch away from the corner on the top one. And it's, there it goes. And then the bottom right corner for me. And then we're just gonna torque that down to the normal level of 3, which is what my driver clutch is set to. And if you spin that around and show people.
Easy peasy.
That was nothing.
Okay.
Now you'll notice, if you turn this all the way around, right there, our hard drive cage and the back of the power supply only give us about that much room to get in there and plug these ends of the cables. It might be in your benefit to plug the cables in before you put the power supply in, just to make life a little easier. Now, I think I can get in there, but that cage is in the way. The other thing we can do, let me just jump in here.
Well, around here looks pretty easy, that you can get to the...
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. Hello. All right.
But still, the hard drive cage may be in the way. But you can easily take this
Yeah.
hard drive cage out with 2 screws,
Yeah.
and or you can work around it.
Let's see you do that.
Which way?
Work around it. I could use a good laugh. All right.
Well, here's our
Okay.
main. We definitely need
Yeah.
motherboard power.
You know which one? You need a light?
Only
Aziz.
one.
Okay,
Only
okay.
one fits.
Okay.
That's the beauty of it. So if we plug that one in here,
There can only be one?
now of course the audience can't see.
Was that Highlander? All right. Yeah.
You're showing your age.
Okay.
What was that actor's name?
Christopher Lambert
That's the one.
was married to actress Diane Ladd.
Listen to you. So was Diane Ladd married to Alan Ladd
No.
from 20th Century Fox?
No.
Was that anything like Big Bad?
No, then she married Josh Brolin, I think.
This one is going to be motherboard power, CPU power,
Okay.
UPS. And we're going to need 2 of these. Well, we only need 1, but we're going to plug 2 of them in because we've got 2. And I can't see the back of the power supply. You think you can't see? I can't see either.
Aziz.
See, there's the ATX 3.
They can't see. Okay. But
I'm showing you.
oh, yeah.
And then these are labeled CPU/PCIe. That's what we want this to plug into. And they've given us 3 of them over here. So I suppose we'll use all 3. We'll use 2 of those 3. Not that one. Not that one. Supposed to have 1 more of these. Oh.
Still has
No.
no.
It's not that one. Not that one. Nope.
You're getting warm.
Nope. Nope. I think, yeah, here it is. Phew. It's getting a little nervous. Pretty sure I saw it. Do not mix your cables up. These are really nice, flexible.
Yeah, and thin too.
Yeah, they're really easy to mold around to your cable management desires. Some cables are a little more inflexible, and some are a little less attractive as well. So this has a nice braiding on them. And the downside, of course, is that they're not sleeved, so they can do this.
Yeah.
But because they can do that, you can really mold these where you want them, and they don't fight you. They're very easily flexible. And then you use your cable ties to secure it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can buy cable sleeving if you want to, and whatever color and patterns you want. They're sold online everywhere. Let's plug this other one in here, because I know when we plug the motherboard, or when we put the motherboard in, we need to provide power. Let's see, to the motherboard, we're going to need to provide power to the cooler, and we're going to need to provide power eventually to the GPU, which I believe we will use the 3-to-3, ATX 3.0 to ATX 3. I don't know if one of these goes to the power supply. Yeah, and it's important. They're labeled. One says PSU on it, and the other one says 600 watts on the other end. So I guess if you had a 1200 watt, you'd use 2 of these? No. No, I don't know. It's rated for 600 watts. Power supply is rated for 1,000. And then you can pull 75 watts out of the PCIe slot, so that's 675. I don't know what graphics cards use more than that. But we'll just plug it in just to get it out of the way, because it's actually down below the power supply, the CPU power cables, and it's a little hard to see now. I should have started with this. But this end here says PSU, so that's the end that goes to the back of the power supply. Now we won't need this for some time, but if I do it now, I won't have to do it later. Yeah, I definitely should have started with this one. So you know what? Let's just take these off. I'm making it harder on myself than I need to. In many situations and scenarios, you can plug the cables in whatever order you want, but you might find that some cables get in the way of other cables, and then you learn the hard way. It would have made more sense, or it would have been easier to install in a specific order, but it just varies on your power supply and what you're plugging into it. Anyway, that was really no big deal. But with all of the cables, thank you. With all the cables being done for power, except for the cooler, which I think, well, we shouldn't have to worry about that right now, because we're still going to have a lot of access to this. And remember, for right now, I'm leaving the cables out, but they'll all go to the back, and then a shroud is going to cover all this up when we're done. So
Very, very nice and
it's going to
clean.
look great. And then we've got all this sort of pre-managed positioning for the cables routing, so it should be a very easy cable management job. There are also 2 thumb screws on this piece I pointed out earlier. And there's one right here, and there's one right up here. And the reason I want to loosen these is I want to show you this vent or cable management piece. It slides.
Isn't that amazing?
So that when we're working on it, when you slide it out like that, you can actually pop this whole thing out. So basically you can take the thumb screws, instead of just loosening them, completely remove it. And then from the back side, you'll see we've got a plastic tab here. And as I slide that plastic tab forward and backward, there's a little keyhole and it'll pop straight out. So if I take these thumb screws out entirely, instead of just, I thought it just moved left and right, but it'll come out. If your motherboard's a little too wide, or if while you're building it, you want this piece out of your way, it's pretty darn easy. It's a very customizable case that you can do this with. And here it is. And the 2 thumb screws. I'm going to keep the thumb screws with that because they're pretty unique looking.
Yeah.
Oh, they're interesting because instead of having the screw, they're the hole.
Mm.
So those are a little different. And that way, it'd probably be much more difficult to screw that up, literally.
Don't lose them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So now it'll be a lot easier to work in there. And you can probably see that little GPU anti-sag holder a little better now. Which is, well, this is really difficult to show on camera. But it's right over here, and you can see that it folds down, it swivels left and right, turns, and we'll leave it in there because there is a 3090 going in, but for now we can just flip it up and keep it out of the way. Clear a little room.
For the motherboard. Mm.
Yeah, well, the motherboard and the cooler take up quite a bit of space. I don't normally like the cooler attached because of that. Gotta be a little extra careful. Maybe what we should do is kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and when I bring the board over, I can set it inside rather than setting it this side.
Right, so we'll just lay this on its side now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's bring this over.
Yeah. So, you ready? Yeah.
Flip this over. Now I want to take a quick look at the pre-installed standoffs. I'm going to make an assumption that a ProArt case with a ProArt motherboard is already ready. Already ready? So there's probably 9 standoffs, if I'm guessing, with an optional 10th one in the micro ATX position towards the slots.
9.
Some boards use that micro ATX position on an ATX board. Most don't. I'm going to guess, and I'm just guessing, that the number of standoffs and the positions they're in this case, are designed specifically for the ASUS ProArt motherboard, even though it's a standard. Not all cases. Some case manufacturers like to define their own standards. Some motherboard manufacturers like to, like I said, some will have 10 holes instead of 9. Now, we do have the ability to add that 10th one. The only way we know is to just bring it over here and see if it'll fit. I'm also going to have to take the fans off of that cooler, and then the fans will go on the top of the case, and the radiator will go on the inside. This was another reason that I did not want to put it together like this, because I knew I was going to have to partially disassemble it, and bringing it over is kind of a pain in the butt. But I can do it.
Well, I would think a $500 motherboard has some heft to it. Am I right?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus the cooler weighs quite a bit.
Yeah.
A few pounds here, a few pounds there. You know, what are you going to do? So I'm going to just bring this over. Yeah, if you grab that for me, thank you.
Yeah, so don't worry about that.
And I got to turn it completely around. Wait a minute. No, I don't. I'm turning it towards you.
Okay.
I'm going to hold it by the block. You notice, guys, the way I hold the board? I'm never touching the bottom of it, and I'm never touching anything other than edges or plastic or heat sinks, that sort of thing. I did count the holes on the motherboard. It does total 9, so they should be in the right position. And it looks like we have to reverse these fans. If I put the fans need to go on this side, right? So the radiator, yeah, you can set that radiator sort of in place here. I suspect.
So you think the fan's on this side?
Yeah. Well, will it fit in there with the
fans on that side?
Well, the fans still have to. Well, here's what I'm curious.
Have you got it? Yeah, I'm going to give it to you. Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Maybe it'll just go in with the fans on it just like that. That would make my life a lot easier. I got a cable stuck underneath here. Got another one.
Another one.
Actually, that should be all right.
Okay.
Wait, it's weird to do it this way. It's very backwards.
I don't think you can squeeze it in there.
No, I don't think it's going to fit. No. The fans hit the top of the board. Yeah. However, oh, whatever this is comes off. As I suspected, the top piece that we secure the radiator to does come out on its own, which is normally what we would do first. However, it's good to know ahead of time that unless there's an adjustment, which I don't think there is,
the fans are hitting the top of the board.
Then the fans, the thickness of the radiator and the fans come down and hit the top of the board. Because the I/O shield, wait a minute, I don't think I have the board seated correctly. We'll just lift that straight up. Let me push the board more.
Gotcha.
So that the I/O shield lines up properly in the back. And that may be what the problem was.
That little, yeah, that little amount, you might,
let
me see the cables.
You got it?
Yeah. That just might do it.
Oh, I'm still hitting something. We're so close.
Yeah, it's the motherboard, yeah.
I/O shield is there.
It's this thing right here that you're hitting.
It's the VRM heatsink.
Yeah.
We're also going in at a funky angle here. So here's the other way we can also do this. Instead of putting the fans on the side that I'm standing on, we can leave the fans on the inside. And this has cutouts. It's so wide that the hoses will fit through, and we put the radiator on my side. That way the fans stay right where they are. I kind of like that. Then that way the screws that hold the fans in are still holding the radiator in, so we don't need an extra set of screws.
Okay.
So it's less work. I mean, by 2 minutes, but hey, I'll take my 2 minutes. So to do that, we have to remove the fans now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up here. And this is why, again, I did not want to prep this the way I did with the liquid cooler. Normally, you'll see me use a temporary air cooler, something that may not be adequate for our build, but fine for testing, because then I have to take it all back apart. But we want to keep the orientation of the fans the same. Can I see my glasses?
While Carrie's doing that, chat, one of my New Year's resolutions is I'm kind of sick of glasses myself. So for the last maybe 3 days, I've been putting on my contact lenses that I usually only wear when I'm acting. I've been wearing them about 7 to 8 hours a day, and then it kind of bugs me, and then I take them out. But it's the only way. The doctor said that your eyeballs are going to get used to them. Is you got to wear them, and so that's kind of my New Year's thing. Is I'm tired of glasses, and so the contact lenses. And I'm getting ready in February, mid-February. I will go to Los Angeles and I will play a doctor in a hospital room where I unfortunately have to tell a woman in her late 40s that she has stage 4 cancer and doesn't have very long to live.
So it's another one of your comedy roles?
Comedy roles, yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah. And so That'll be Dr. Mitch with some bad news.
All right, well, I'm going to make a note. Do not see Dr. Mitch.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a barrel of laughs.
Yeah. And probably by the time it's edited, I'll have the clip sometime in March, so I'll be happy to share. Very dramatic, me with the white lab coat and the shirt and the tie and the stethoscope around my neck.
I'm gonna look official, huh?
Yeah, the real McCoy.
There's nothing precarious about what I'm doing.
Mm.
That's what I didn't want to happen. That's all right. It's not hurting nothing. All right, I'm going to jump over here.
Someone mentioned cataract surgery, or at least eye LASIK, but I have an astigmatism, and my eye doctor, who I trust, who I've been with for 10 years, who wears glasses himself, says don't do it, because you can only have the operation like twice, and what if you don't like your vision then? So I'm like, well, if an eye doctor still wears glasses, I get it. So,
all right, now in theory,
now I
should take the tray out just to make my life a little easier.
Okay.
So let me take the tray out. Not every case comes with a removable tray for your cooler, so I like that. And again, at a case at this level, I'd expect it, but if you've been watching this channel, my expectations don't mean a whole lot. What I'm thinking is, so here's the problem. If I want to put the radiator on this side,
you have to take it.
I have to take the pump off. See why I say I don't? I'm just reminding my audience.
Yeah.
The only other way I can think to do this, I don't think that's going to work, is it?
In other words, this is going to go on top, or you want it underneath?
I'm thinking this goes on top, and then the fans go underneath and secure it to the bracket.
And blow out?
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, we could turn the fans around the other way. I usually put the fans in so I could see the RGB, but these don't have RGB, so they don't have to go in that way. I can draw air in or out. So the question is,
we
got the two giant fans bringing air in.
So I think then it should
push it out.
Push it out.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
So the airflow is.
Yep.
Plus we got the rear fan too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to fit in there.
So you don't have to take it off. That's going to go in just like that?
I think so.
But then,
because we know if we went to the other side and we attach the fans.
But then how will the top go on?
I'll show you.
Okay. No, I believe.
I'm not good at visualizing things. But we should be able to feed this through. I don't want to do that yet because I want the fans on it. Let's see.
That was the last one. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but okay. Let's do it this way. Give me two. Yeah. Well, that's funky. You'd think the radiator would sit in here, right? Because of the recess.
Whereas it almost looks like it's designed to sit in this way.
That means the fans would need to go on the other side. It's 6 of one, half dozen the other. It's not like you're really going to get it wrong. I should probably just take a quick look at the marketing photos and see how they set it up.
Okay.
I usually like to replicate.
Well, then here, let me. I'll hold that while you. So here, let me take that.
I'll grab. Okay. I'll put this away.
So then you shift, and then I'll hold this so it doesn't. So it doesn't drop off.
Let's get these out of the way. I don't think we need these right now. And let's take a look at those marketing photos. Let's see what they say or show. See what they show.
looked like the fans were underneath. What do you think?
Well,
The
there's
photo.
definitely fans under there.
Under there, so
Can't see the radiator.
which is above the fan. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you see it shows the radiator on top,
On top.
just where we're doing.
Okay.
We're putting it on top.
Yeah, and the fans below them.
Uh-huh.
All right.
I think we got it right.
Okay.
Now it does show you can also add the fans on top. See, 3 120s or 3 140s.
Okay.
Or both. You can put the fans on the bottom and the top and do a push-pull config.
Yeah.
What was that switch? Oh, that's our fan speed. Well, that's old school.
Yeah.
What's this slider right here? Oh, it's a lock, so you don't accidentally
On the
power
latch.
it off and hit
Yeah.
the button. You can lock the button
Nice.
so it won't move.
Yeah.
What else? Front panel IR dust indicator. What does that even mean? It tells you when to clean the dust. Are you kidding? Hey, that's pretty neat.
Pretty sweet. Okay.
I can't breathe. What do we got? Nothing.
Tells you when all those dust mites are holding hands. It's time to clean.
They're having a party over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, what we got matches.
Okay. Then we'll continue on, Smedley. All right.
We verified all of this stuff already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's that bracket, the support bracket I was showing her.
Yeah.
I got some good pictures. This is hard to take a picture of when it's so dark. You see how the bracket is right there, and they definitely show the edge of the bracket has to go down.
Okay.
See where the slots for the screws?
Yeah.
You flip this the other way around, then they'd be closer to the lid. So I was just verifying that when they showed their picture of it assembled.
So the fans, like the original photo, are below. They're below the radiator, which is what you've got going here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. It looks like they got a 420. Those look like they're three 140 millimeter or 14 centimeter fans.
Jeez.
That's about as big of a radiator as you could put in a system.
Okay.
The hoses are coming out the right. Now, interestingly, it shows the hoses. Yeah, exactly the way we put it in. The hoses face down. They're not up against the ram. They run across the ram. They run up to the radiator. The radiator attaches to the top of the bracket. The fans attach through the bracket into the radiator, securing the radiator to the bracket. I wonder what that button is for right there.
That's for the glass.
No, this button right here.
Oh.
It's like an electric button or something. Well, we'll find out when we get. All right, well, there you go. Lessons learned.
Okay.
I have not been paying attention to the chat room. You're okay holding that for a minute?
Yeah.
My chat. Robert Jones joins us and says hello. There's Phil Stodd saying hello. Ron Barnish. Mara's so excited. She's like, hurry up and get that.
Yeah. Yeah. What a machine.
Well, potentially.
Yeah.
We'll see if we build it right. Details.
Okay.
We are on the right path. I'll just put one of those in my mouth for now. Ah, just like Grandma used to make.
You got it? I don't know whether they're lined up or not. I got it.
Go ahead and turn this a little. Get those hoses out of my way. Okay, can you grab a couple more screws, please?
Yes.
Just two. Thank you. I'm imagining what side these power cables, when we flip this over, these should be towards me. Hope I got that in the right.
Versus the other way, yeah.
Wait a minute. think I'm okay. You know what? I better not tighten these down too much. I might want to slide this radiator forward and backward once we seat it in here.
Okay.
Whoa. So the problem is, you don't turn very much by the time you fill that little gap from the bracket.
Yeah.
Not much left to
slide.
Okay, let's just let's go to the next fan. Those are connected.
You got these connected.
So put that one on this end. There you go.
How do you with the cable facing? You have it this way.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have left these connected. Hold that fan.
Hold that.
Let me disconnect these, because otherwise it doesn't matter what order we put them in. It's just I was trying to be lazy to not have to reconnect them, and all I did is create more work for myself. So, lesson to everybody there. Now it's easy to figure out. It's got to go that way. And then this one will go. See with the cabling here. Gonna go like that. So I'll tell you what, give me 2 more screws, please.
And then these blow out.
These are blowing through, yeah. The end that's facing us is bringing air in. That's our intake or our pull. Sorry, that's our pushing air through. And if we were to put more fans on the other side, we would put them in the opposite. We put them in the same direction. Ugh, come on. The screwdriver's too fast. Let me slow it down. There we go. Then we'll just start with this one here. That one. So here's what I want to find out. I guess we can just start these. Why not? Thank you. So here's what I'm trying to figure out. And the reason I haven't tightened these down yet is I want to be able to slide this up and down and see where it looks best. So we're going to take this back out in a second, but I should be able to put it in sideways, I think. And then just bring it. This is very difficult to do with the pump still on, I will tell you. Sometimes I work a lot harder when I'm trying to do the opposite. That rear case fan is now in our way. I'm wondering if it's just easier to take the pump off or take the rear case fan out. This is not the way you're supposed to do it. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to set every way I've shown in every other video, putting a liquid cooler in. You put the liquid cooler into the bracket, you set all that up, and then you put the bracket in. We would not normally have the pump attached.
Do you want to take the rear case fan off?
Well, I'm just trying to avoid taking the pump off only because we've got thermal compound on there, but it's not a big deal.
Well, let's try.
Yeah.
Let's take that off.
We'll take the rear fan out just to see if that's all we have to do. Then I don't mess with thermal compound. Those are just standard everyday ordinary fan screws. Now, hold on a second. Let me see which way this went in. Let me give that to you. That has a power cable going where? That is a very tight power cable. Yeah. So the problem now is they've pre-wired it so tight.
Right.
So let me just try something here. I think that might have been enough. Now when I turn this over, it should fit perfectly. Just like that. So if we turn this so the audience can see what I'm doing.
Okay.
You see how recessed the radiator is? That lid's going to go on just fine.
Yep.
There are a couple screws that hold this piece in that I've got left on the table right here next to my finger.
Okay.
And what I'm trying to determine now is when I slide this forward or backward, if there's any particular... Well, first of all, the bracket itself is moving, which should not be happening. There's something on the other end of this bracket that's supposed to latch into. Can I see the flashlight, please? I'm a little confused. What am I supposed to latch into on that side?
Because these have two little doodads here.
Yeah, I'm looking at that, and I can't figure out where they go. Do they go? They don't go under, do they? Well, they do go under, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, they sure do.
So one side goes under, one side goes over.
Okay.
We're referring to the. Yeah, that's one. The on each side of the bracket there are little U-shaped extensions of the metal, and the one on this side we use the screws to tighten it down. But you notice earlier I never took one out of this side. And that's because those U-shaped pieces go underneath instead of above.
Okay.
Now we can slide the radiator forward and backward as to whatever is our preference with regards to how it looks. However, without securing this in place, it doesn't really hold there very well.
I can hold it. I mean,
well, okay, yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
So if we move it more towards me, we get close to this fan. If we move it more towards the front, we get close to the front fans. I got a feeling maybe
there,
all the way there, all the way back away from the front is possible, is going to be the best look.
Okay.
All right, so can you hand me, you can let that go. Can you hand me the screwdriver, please? And all I have to do is just tighten one or two of these, and this radiator will be locked in position.
You need the light? Yeah.
Oh, I just need a little... I didn't have to tighten that many. I just want to make sure the radiator won't slide around that bracket. So when we put it back, it'll go exactly in that way. The problem is the screws on the bottom of the fans, I can't get to them because the motherboard and everything's in the way. So we'll have to take this out one more time. We'll hook the wires up on the fans, tighten the screws down, and put it in one final time.
Okay.
And so to get this out, again, we got to get a little creative here. This is not the normal way you do this, but you can see there's not just one right way, there's just an easier way. All right, nothing precarious. That's totally normal, nothing to see here.
Now you can tighten those fans.
Yep. I'm gonna go back over these one more time.
And you're saying with this CPU, this powerful CPU, there's no air cooling that's good enough.
Oh no,
to keep it.
No, I never said that.
Oh,
where did you get that from?
I don't know. I'm just thinking that it's, what is it, an i47? No, it's an i13 or
it's an Ultra 9 285K.
Okay.
And yeah, it's the latest flagship processor from Intel, 15th gen. It's a whole new technology. Really should be called a first gen. And it's going to have first gen teething problems. They've already come out with a BIOS update to address some gaming slowness that was, apparently Intel doesn't know
because
it.
some of those air coolers have not only 2 fans,
Can you hold this?
but there's one that has 3 where there's a fan in the middle or something like that. So I would think with 3 fans pulling through that would be enough to.
Well, it's not about the number of fans so much as the size of the heatsink. And Noctua has like the NHD 15, which is massive, but you're not going to see anything but the top of a heatsink through the glass. It's not very pleasing to the eye.
No, but
and for that reason, people prefer the liquid coolers. It's a cleaner look.
Right.
That's all.
But if this is sitting under your desk or to the left or
Well, then
right
what's
of
the
your
point of
desk,
having the glass?
Well, I know. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a personal preference, and this is just why people prefer. That's why ASUS makes a ProArt liquid cooler, but not a ProArt air cooler, because they're just not visually, aesthetically pleasing. And when you're going to drop this much cash on a build of this high quality, $500 motherboard, $600 processor, you're $1,100 into it before you've added NVMe drives.
Right.
And that cable we'll just recess these cables. They fit right in a little gap here. That's really neat. We'll just leave that dangle.
Okay.
Now that's going to come out the back towards the motherboard tray, which is where we want it. This is all prepped now, and that took way longer than it should have. But at least I didn't take the pump off. You got to have your priorities, man. You do you. All right, let me just slide this back under here one more time. The benefit of this is the more I do it, the easier it's getting. And I'm not so afraid or cautious now that I understand all of the fitment requirements.
Watch the wire. Okay.
Okay. And then we can put this end in first.
Back into the doodads. Yeah. That's just a fan.
Yeah, that can just
Yep,
sit there. Do me a favor, hold this radiator in for me. Let me just make sure I got it seated. Right there.
Now I got it. I got it.
And you don't got it. Oh, I need you to hold it from the other side. Can you just reach around?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and now I'm going to just put in 2 screws on this side. One right here. Pretty good for a guy that can't see it. Everything's in the dark. Okay, you can let it go.
You sure?
Yep, that ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
That's not terrible. Boy, we definitely did that the hard way. And don't let me forget, we got to secure the board. I'm going to get so excited to fire this up, but we're going to lift it up and the board's going to... Actually, the hoses from the cooler will actually
let's seat the rear fan.
Okay, you got those screws?
Yeah, I sure do.
No, that's not going to block the... No, okay, that sits over a heatsink. Just want to make sure it wasn't going to block the holes for the motherboard mounting points. That one didn't feel good. Try that again. That's better. We're just on a torque setting of 3 here, ladies and gentlemen. This is very low torque. It's just enough for me, in my opinion, for computer parts. And well, no specific torque is mentioned in any of the manuals.
Peter Tork of the Monkees.
Peter Tork. Mickey Dolan.
Yeah.
Davy
Mike,
Jones.
and Mike Nesmith, whose mother invented liquid white.
Everybody says whiteout was invented by their mother. What's up with that?
No, Mike Nesmith's fault. And she patented it.
I just heard that all throughout high school.
Yeah.
My mother invented whiteout.
Yeah. And only sold the company for $800 million. Just a mere bagatelle.
She got taken.
She got taken. So are you
right
lined
up until
up?
the word processor.
Yeah. So are you lined up? Where did the 9 screws?
Well, they're still in the bag.
Oh, gotcha.
So I got to step over. Now people can see me again.
Okay.
Sorry, people.
Yeah.
Oh, and this piece, this goes on.
Okay.
On top. I don't know why this is here.
With this? You had it sitting right there.
No, I don't think this. This was just like magnetically.
Oh.
Somehow. What was that like? I don't know what this is for. Yeah, it just goes on there.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure what purpose it serves. Or did it go on that way? I'm so confused. I probably should have been paying more attention. It feels like it's magnetically grabbing onto something.
Costs too much to pay that much attention.
Can't afford to pay attention.
Pay attention. All right.
Did it go this way? That can't be right. See, there's a hole here. There's a hole here. And those line up. Unless it goes down. No, it can't go down. Have to play the video back, figure that out. I don't know what that does. Nothing seems to secure it.
Okay.
But maybe that is weird. What purpose does that serve? Looks like it's got a lip on it, and that lip. Oh.
Shazam.
Yeah, it's got a lip and it hooks up, and now it's in there. So the motherboard screws is what I was coming over here for before I saw that squirrel. And those are in the bag of parts that came with the case, or the box of parts. So we have these weird plugs. I don't know what those are for yet. And we've got the vertical GPU mount tray. These screws, what does that bag say?
Motherboard for MB 2.5 HDD.
So for motherboard, and the slash means also 2.5-inch hard drives.
Okay.
So apparently they all use the same screws. And we're going to need 9 of these. So I'm going to grab 2. You can pull up another 7. And do me a solid and hand me 7 more of these.
Mighty dark down there. All right.
Yes, it is. It is. A black motherboard in a black case, putting it together in a dark room.
I'm kind of getting excited. Are you?
Is that my cologne?
Smoke, yeah, smoke test, baby. You don't have an NVMe in there.
I have 5 NVMe's.
I was just testing you. Yeah. RAID 37? No, there's no
RAID 37.
Very fast, right? You all right there?
No.
No. Light?
Have I ever been?
No. Mitch, will there be a corny joke today?
Uh-oh.
Okay, you want one?
Oh, boy.
Okay. And now, friends, it's time for the corny joke of the day. Why did the cat give up basketball?
I don't know. Why did the cat give up basketball?
Because it threw up too many hairballs.
Oh.
Wah, wah, wah. I told you it was going to be corny.
This is why Mitch is not a dad.
Yeah, yeah. So true. All right.
Even the center post uses a screw, even though it also works as a post. That's
so
pretty cool.
9? So you did all 9?
That's all 9.
Okay.
Let me hand that back to you for a moment.
Can I put the rest of the screws in the bag?
Yes, please.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. And folks, today's joke was brought to you by Blue Moon.
Yeah, apparently.
Uncle Mitchie's favorite beer, and unfortunately the 2 watering holes establishments that I go to quit selling it because they told me that no one drinks it, and so they switched Blue Moon for something called Wow, which is a wheat beer, but it's awful. It just tastes awful.
Doesn't make you go, wow, that's bad.
And so now either I have to find new drinking establishments, which I don't want, or I switch to Corona. Ugh.
You know what the most popular draft beer is right now?
No. Michelob Ultra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
It's the stuff we drank in college because it was the cheapest thing you could buy.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we can lift this up here and help me out.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is what it must be like to have children. Okay.
So, I don't know. I like those 2 bars, and so they're close to where I live. I'm disappointed because I thought I was in there enough, but apparently not. Whenever I was in there, I saw people drinking Blue Moon because
not enough.
Because I could see the orange slice in their beer, like me, but not enough. And so I'm old. I have to roll with the times. So
I had to start going back to Zima.
yeah. Annie Green Springs, Boone's Farm. You can remember that.
$2 chuck.
$2 chuck. Schlitz. Blatz. All right.
Pabst.
Who would name a beer Blatz?
Stroh's.
I mean, yeah. Stroh's okay. That was.
Can I see the flashlight, please?
Flashlight.
I have a very tiny little bit of cable to work with here, and it's. Tell you what, maybe you can hold the flashlight. How about that?
Yeah.
Get you to work.
Scott, Mitch, how is a rebuild computer working? I'll tell you, Scott. Surfing the web and Uncle Kerry, I just informed here a few days ago, your Uncle Mitch went from 1 gigablast,
1 gigabyte,
1 gigablast to 2.5, which meant I had to get a new modem, of course, and a new router. But I'm happy to say that
what modem did you get?
The Aris Surfboard S34. And new router, and I'm happy to say, calling the cable company, it was easy peasy.
Mitch did not ask me for any help replacing his router.
No. Oh, and chat, I installed on my own a PCIe Ethernet card, 2.5 Ethernet card. And Uncle Kerry was very impressed with that. He's like, "You snapped that in and it worked." I'm like, "I'm getting 2.5."
Didn't need to load any drivers, right?
No. So
and you bought a new router.
Router,
a new modem.
Yeah,
and a router.
And a router.
And the router, you got a TP-Link Wi-Fi
11,000 that I got.
The BE 11,000
that I got at Best Buy, and yeah, the Stormtrooper is fast. It's fast for surfing the web.
Point that light up a little bit there.
Yeah.
Now,
so Mitch,
here's the thing that impressed me. Not so much the whole putting the PCIe card in.
Okay.
That was mostly, I was surprised you didn't need drivers.
Right.
Okay, but what impressed me was I told Mitch, when you get the router, if you set the SSID and password exactly to what your router has now, you won't have to reconfigure any of your wireless devices, but you've got to be precise.
Exactly.
Uppercase, lowercase on the name and password has to be exactly the same on the old router.
Yep.
And if you do that, then your devices don't even know the router changed and everything reconnects. And if you need any help, call me with that. And Mitch called me and said, "It's all done." I go, "What do you mean it's all done? You mean you got it out of the box?" He goes, "No, it's all hooked up."
Yeah.
I go, "Oh, so you need some help with the Wi-Fi?"
No.
He goes, No. I did what you said.
Yeah. Set the SSID and the password exact, and even my Nest thermostat recognized it, and so
Just like I said.
yeah.
So then he put the 2.5 gig network card in. That's easy peasy. Slap that in, and the driver auto loaded.
Well, yep.
And then
the only thing Kerry said to go here and go here, because he wanted to make sure it said
checking your link speed on your network.
2500/2500.
Yeah.
And then he's like
to the router.
Yeah. And so
And then Mitch said, "Okay, tomorrow I'm going to call the cable company and have them provision my modem."
Yep. And they told me that it would shut off, which I was watching it, and then it would turn itself right back on. And then the sales lady said, "Reboot your computer." Boom. And then before I got her off the line, I said, "Do you mind just holding for 30 seconds while I do a speed test?" She's like, "That's fine. What are you getting?" 23,400. She's like, and then that's download, and upload is about 105 or something like that. So I'm happy. Although Kerry reminds me, for the rest of my home, I use power line adapters, and they don't make 2.5 gig power line adapters. So those, of course, I have one behind my 65
Yeah, your
inch
Nest
TV.
isn't going to cool your house any faster.
No. And I have one of those behind my 65-inch TV in the bedroom. But again, that's no buffering. I've never had. In the laundry room, I have a Corsair 250D little machine that Carrie helped me upgrade, and that uses a power line adapter. But again, that's fine. So the only thing left is we got my Stormtrooper to the right of my desk is my daily driver. On the left is the Corsair 450 that Carrie would like to upgrade, but I'm nervous because I've got it dialed in programs and just the way I like it.
You usually have to twist people's arms.
Just the way I like it. And I'm like, oh, you mean I got to reload programs and find there was a software program that would go through your computer and print out your codes of all your software, and I'm like,
well, that's the benefit of having
versus finding them all.
If you had
down,
subscriptions,
right,
you wouldn't have to worry about it. You just re-download your software. You wouldn't have to hold it. They do.
Right.
People, complain about subscriptions, this and that, but the benefit of the subscriptions is software is available for you. You just log into your account. Yeah. Re-download it and reapply it.
What do you need?
I need my zip tie cutters.
Oh, yeah.
Wire cutters. Thank you.
And what have I got in my, did we lose chat? No.
Oh, yeah, the browser crashed. Let me address that here real quick. I'm just wiring up the front port umbilicals right now. They were zip tied together, and I didn't have enough slack to get in there.
There we go.
There, it's reconnected us. There we go. Okay, we're good. Looks like we had a couple drop frames so far, but overall pretty good. I guess I can put that away for now. I might need this flashlight. I shouldn't need these cutters anymore. Just trying to keep my area clear. Anyway, as you were.
Yeah. And in my daily driver chat, I have a Intel i7. Is it a 3500 something or 3400? It's got integrated graphics, but it's an Intel i7. Something.
I don't think it's that old, is it?
Third
generation?
Yeah, I think so. Boost to 3.4, 3.6, and so, I mean, I like it. I mean, it's fast. I do, of course.
That's not Windows 11 compatible, though.
Well, it does say that up in the upper right, but I haven't tested it, So
it says what in the upper right?
You need to check. It doesn't say this is not compatible.
It just
says you need to check it. So, but again, I could certainly build a new machine, attempt PC mover and move everything over.
You could. I mean, we could just move the drive and see what happens, but it's a risk. Right? Yeah. It might work okay. Right. It might not.
Right. But the build
I don't do that for customers. I don't risk.
No. But the build is 6 years old, so it's not.
Is it 6?
Yeah, we built it in 19, and then
it shouldn't be third gen then.
Oh.
19 would have been 6th or 7th.
Okay. Yeah, Intel i7. Why do I think for some reason 3600 or 3400? And then what's the code when it has integrated graphics? Not like GT or something like G. I don't know, but
it'd be like HD 630 or something like that.
But it's again, it's dialed in. Would I like to upgrade it? It's just I'm a little nervous because I've got it dialed in, and I'm like, would I like an i9? Oh heck yes. Why? I don't know, because I just surf the web and video edit.
You just like loud fans and excessive power consumption?
Yeah, just and power, and just video edit my acting auditions, which are just simple cuts, fade in, fade out, so I'm not taxing it too much. So, Andy Kane, a TPM help, Mitch?
You need more than just a TPM for Windows 11. You also need special instruction sets on the CPU. You need TPM, and you also need, secure boot and all that other stuff. So it's just not quite that simple these days.
Maybe the chip doesn't have, yeah, I guess it does have integrated graphics, but we've got a graphics card. We've got a gigabit.
By the way, we left your graphics card out of your build. Do you even know it's missing? Remember you were going to try that.
Yeah, not really. I mean,
you don't even notice. You haven't rendered anything on it, though, have you?
No. But I have, like you said, I didn't plug it into the card. I plugged it into just the.
What I'm looking for on the board is I need another USB port, USB 2. And I think this board only gave us one USB 2 header on the motherboard, which was kind of a bummer because the CPU cooler, the water block, wants USB, and the front USB up top also wants USB 2. Maybe I'm not seeing it. Does not appear to have a second. Aw. We have two USB 3s. I can run an adapter and convert it.
If you had one.
Oh, I've got one.
Oh.
If I can find it, that's a different question.
Yeah. And then, chat, my daily driver, the case is something I like. It's a Corsair 450D.
I remember that.
Has two 120 fans in the front, one in the back. I paid a lot of money, although Uncle Kerry scolded me, for two.
I don't do those things.
For two fans with the magnetic levitation. I don't know. They were like $40 each.
Oh, those Corsair
for the fans, no RGB, but I mean just whisper quiet. And
why did I scold you? Because you paid too much?
Well, he's like, what are you using fans that expensive for? And I'm like, because you said it's an 8-year build, and I don't want to replace a fan. And if I
that's that fear and anxiety I was talking about.
And if I spend
trying to avoid having a problem I never would have had.
Right.
Okay.
So
you do hear yourself.
Well, the magnetic levitation has no bearings in there, or how does that work? So.
But they tend to be louder. But maybe they've gotten better over time.
Well, with my tinnitus, I can't hear it.
You've got 11itis.
Yeah, all I hear is right. So I like the case. It's got the IOs on the top. The only thing it doesn't have is a USB Type-C on the top, but it's got the two USB 3.0s. But I don't know. I like the case. It's with the two.
Well, that's all that really matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Do you like what you have?
Right. It sits there nice. It's got the mesh on the front, so I snap off the front, blow out the stuff and the fans.
So we are going to need another power cable for all these fans, or for the fan header.
Okay.
There's a SATA power cable right here, and that's going to power that fan controller up here that powers all these fans. But there's my front panel connector. I was just looking for that. It's a unified connector, so they make that real easy. Appreciate that thoughtfulness in the design.
Would my 750 watt gold be able to handle an i9 processor?
Yeah, the processor's not really, it's really the graphics card that needs the power.
So I wouldn't have to update the power supply, correct? That was a good one. I spent
even if you had a 500 watt power supply, you'd be way more than you need. All right, so that's the front panel. So what do I have left? We've got power for the external discrete GPU, not external. And then I need power for the fans. And then I think we're all hooked up. I think that's everything except those front USBs. And I mentioned an adapter to go USB 3 to USB 2. Do I have one in here? You keep chatting. I'm going to go look for my little cable. Amazon sells them. They're for internal USB headers.
And so it's nice, chat, that Uncle Kerry has offered to, upgrade my daily driver. But again, I do have some software, not one, but two screenwriting programs that I use for writing stuff. And so I'm just nervous. I mean, of transferring over. But that and Windows 11, I'm still, the Stormtrooper, he put Windows 11, or I put Windows 11 Pro on there, and I'm just kind of working my way through, but I'm old. I'm so used to Windows 10.
old.
I'm so used to Windows 10. It's like an old friend. I know it. So I know where everything is. And so,
you'll learn where everything is again.
Yeah.
It only takes about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is there an i9 with integrative graphics? Because
Yes.
that graphics card of mine is an old, I think it's a 1060. I don't think it's a 1080.
I'm going to have to find my little adapter. It's a
Okay.
little adapter. I thought I kept it in the drawer. In fact, I think I took it off of your build.
Yeah.
I thought I stuck it in the drawer.
That's what.
I'm like, oh, I'm going to use this one day, but I might have put it somewhere else.
Sitting it on the shelves, or is it slid back there? So?
Yeah, I'm wondering if it slid to the back. Maybe I didn't put it back here after all. That's all right. It's not critical. But I do need the SATA power. Let me step over here again.
Yeah.
We're done with these screws for right now, so I'll keep it with these, with the rest of them over here.
So you're saying I would not notice much performance difference between my i7 and an i9?
No. Nope. You're not an enthusiast, so.
No. So
Yeah, you would notice.
I wouldn't notice?
You'd notice the power consumption and the fan noise, and the wallet would be a little emptier.
Yeah.
You'd notice that.
Yeah.
You need more aggressive cooling, so even though you could reuse your power supply, you won't be able to reuse your cooler.
What do I have in there?
I don't know. It won't matter. It's a different socket type.
Mugen.
Yeah, you got a Mugen in there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not enough, though.
For a 9? With integrated graphics?
Well, what generation of 9 are we talking about?
I don't know.
Probably going to need a new motherboard. And then that motherboard's going to have a different socket type, and that Mugen, well, it may be capable, but probably isn't going to fit.
Yeah.
Without all the adapters, and even then it may not if it's a socket 1700.
But I don't want to go to water cooling, so.
No, you don't have to go to You can buy a modern Mugen.
Right.
Actually, on an Ultra 9, I mean, on a... Yeah, Mugen sells one that'll probably cool that. But a Noctua will definitely do it. Maybe somebody on YouTube's made a video about it. You're talking about putting that back in the Corsair 350 case?
450D, yeah.
450D.
I mean, I've been looking at, like, I don't know, the Corsair 5000 airflow. I think instead of 2 fans up front, there's three 120s or something. That I'm like, ooh.
Well, the front fans are for cooling a graphics card.
Oh, yeah, which I would.
It's not really going to help your CPU.
No, which I would prefer, not to have. Because, like you said, I think the integrative graphics is good enough for what little video rendering I'm doing. So,
I think we're ready to power this bad boy up.
So you've got the fans, the radiator fans hooked up.
I just hooked power to the fan splitter.
And the pump.
The radiator fans are hooked up. The pump is hooked up. The pump is powered by the motherboard.
Okay.
But the only thing we haven't hooked up is we've got the 2 USB 3s up front, the Type A's. They're hooked up, and the Type C is hooked up. But there's 2 USB 2s, but we don't.
No. And
why would they sell a ProArt case that has
for that kind of scratch
with the liquid cooler? And they being ASUS knew they both needed a USB 2. So why does the motherboard only have 1 USB 2? I think they didn't think this through. But again, we can adapt that USB. But it'd be nice if they would have included the adapter for us, given the price of this board.
But you're thinking it's ready for a smoke.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what is this? Oh, that's the USB that I haven't hooked up. Okay. That checks out.
So, chat, should Uncle Mitch, I'll let you vote, should Uncle Mitch upgrade his i7 Intel to something newest, latest, and struggle through reloading his programs and getting his machine dialed into Windows 11 Pro? Or should I just stay on this for another year? I don't know. So it's working well. I like it. And so change is a good thing. Adapt or die, right?
Trade your motorcycle in for a hoverboard,
Yeah.
like all the other cool kids.
Well, I won't ride that this weekend because it being the last shopping weekend, the traffic out there is going to be horrific. So, yeah, no riding. Well, I rode yesterday, so I'll wait till Monday or Tuesday. Fire her up.
So I'm going to leave that power cable out because that's going to go to the 3090 Ti. But we're going to, we do everything in stages. So if anything goes wrong, we can diagnose much faster.
Yes, Mitch, do it with the help of Uncle Kerry. Well, there's one vote for
Hey, I need the content.
Yeah, so go ahead and upgrade. I'm not against it. Again, it's a little pain, but I got nothing but time. All right.
You want to hit the button?
The lock one. Are we ready?
You can see it better than I can.
Yeah. Do you have to switch over so that they can see?
I want to see if the fans turn and
Oh,
everything.
you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Everything's spinning?
Oh, everything's spinning. Look at that. What a breeze.
Getting some air?
Ah.
Wait, maybe the switch. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. I don't know.
Now it looks
Wow.
like now it looks like unseen wind blowing through my
You feel the air in there.
Oh yeah. 200s going without the mesh.
That rear fan's not messing about. Right, let's jump over to camera 2. Did this thing boot or what's it doing? It's already up.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like the audio got a little loud. And here comes Mara out of her cave.
Yeah.
Coming to take a look.
I love that background.
You like that background?
Where'd you get that?
It's just coming from...
Oh, Windows?
Yeah, when you go to Windows, you look at Personalize.
Oh, okay.
Display settings.
All right.
Can you turn that, please?
Ooh.
Again?
Where you want it?
Towards me.
Whoa, am I knocking something over? Anyway, I was going over here, and I'm going to type in right-click, Personalize.
I believe you.
And then we're going to choose, see here, it's got
Yeah.
background.
Okay.
It's got Windows Spotlight, and that changes your background.
Mm-hmm.
The other day I was showing everybody this stupid thing. Not this. This over here. We type in lively wallpaper. See, it just changed the wallpaper.
Yeah. Chad, I'm still on. Carrie will laugh. My background is still, there's a girl with a ponytail running on a beach, and then over in the right is kind of a rock formation. And I know that's pretty old, but I kind of like. So that's my background, and I've never changed it. I'm like, good enough.
Where's this is all advertising. I guess I got to go to the Microsoft store. So we'll go down here to the Microsoft store. I'm not signed into a Microsoft account, and you don't have to be. Lively wallpaper. This is free and open source, but it's really, really dumb, which is why I'm going to put it in.
So you have it every time you boot your computer, the wallpaper changes?
Every 24 hours, I guess.
Oh, okay.
It's called Windows Spotlight, and then Bing's got something similar to compare.
Yeah.
Well, Bing and Microsoft.
Because remember, chat, per Uncle Kerry, you don't, I never turn my machines off. So, I mean, they run 24/7.
Now, these fans are a little loud. We probably have some adjustments somewhere.
Yeah, and again, you don't have all the covers on them or whatever.
Let's see if you like this wallpaper.
Yeah, it's unique-y. Kind of like a jellyfish, but with smoke.
Move the mouse around.
This one?
No, the other one.
The other. Oh, it follows. Boy, isn't that spiffy?
That's stupid, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can change it to the matrix, but it's a live wallpaper versus a screensaver.
Okay.
Right? Because it's active.
Yeah. Get you seasick after a while. Yeah.
All right, let's go to Let's see.
The computer.
Display setting. I need that display bigger. I need 250% bigger.
Okay.
Oh, now I can read it.
Okay.
Oh, hey, look, there's icons on the screen.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering why the switch doesn't do anything. Isn't that supposed to be high speed, low speed?
That's what I thought you said when you looked on it on the website, but
Am I missing something? Remember, we haven't looked at any documentation here. That is some serious airflow.
yeah.
So probably what we can do is go into the BIOS here.
So you'll have to hit delete.
Yeah, we'll hit restart.
Start.
Yeah, those fans in the front are running way too fast for my liking.
Yeah.
What does it say on the switch?
Let me see.
It says something up here and something down there.
Auto and Mark MA something.
Mike?
Mike.
Oh, maybe that's for the audio and not for the fan.
Oh. Yeah, that might be it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it shows you what I knew.
Audio MI no. For some reason, oh, Max and Auto, and then here it just says fans. So yeah.
Oh, it is for the fan.
Auto Max.
All right. Well, we want it on auto.
Yeah.
And I think I missed my
BIOS. Okay.
delete key, I think.
Okay. Once again, restart.
Try that one more time.
And you've updated to the most current BIOS, you think?
Well, I did last time, but maybe a new one's come out since then. This is a brand new chip, so I expect there to be some regular updates.
Okay.
But we could check today.
Delete. Oh, you missed it.
I don't know if it's delete or F2 on this motherboard, so I'm gonna just. Well, we wait till the restarting goes away, right? It doesn't do us any good to press it now, but now, especially when the screen starts to initialize. Oh, fans just got quieter. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I haven't even done anything yet. Come on. Oh, they got real quiet.
Almost looked like you shut it off, but
Now wait a minute. I haven't done anything.
yeah.
Did it take that long for auto to take effect? I mean, it's whisper quiet
Right
now. What the heck? Okay, hold on a minute. Did auto just take that long to adjust?
And it didn't go into the BIOS.
It didn't load my lively wallpaper either.
Okay. No.
Might need to activate to make that. Oh, there it goes.
Okay.
Just took a minute. So remember, we didn't use the RAM we intended to on this. So we just have some temporary RAM in there. That's
32 gig.
Yeah, 32 is not terrible. And Ultra 9 285K. The BIOS we've got under CPU Z. Bring that up. And we'll also bring up the website for ASUS ProArt Z890. Right here, and that's our board. Under support. Not the support over here, but the support over here.
Yep.
That's for this motherboard, whereas support up here is general support. And then driver utility. Scroll to the bottom. No?
You got to click over to BIOS.
Oh, over here, BIOS. Our latest BIOS is dated 1203. That came out just a couple days ago.
Okay.
And the BIOS we have on the main board tab is 1101. That's a pretty... We went from November 25th to December 18th. Let's download that.
Yeah.
Now, we should be able to just extract this right to the C drive. Extract. And we just want this big file, this 32 meg file right here.
Okay.
Right click. We're going to copy this. I'm going to just try a little cheat.
Okay.
I'm going to go right to the C drive. I'm going to hit paste. Oops. Did not mean to hit skip. Paste. Continue. Then I'm going to close, 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 and to get into the BIOS, I'll go to Settings, and then I'm going to go to Windows Update, and then I'm going to go to Advanced, and then I'm going to go to Recovery, and then I'm going to go to Advanced Startup, and that'll give us the option to enter the BIOS in Advanced Startup, so I don't have to worry about what key to press or when.
Okay.
There's many different ways to get into the BIOS, at least 2 and sometimes 3 or 4. And this is just one way if you're getting frustrated like I am, you're tired of trying to hit the key at the right time. This might take a few seconds longer overall, but it'll get you there every single time. It always works. So when this fires up, it's going to provide us with a couple of diagnostic menu items. And the one we want to choose is called UEFI settings, or BIOS settings is another way we could call it. It's not how it's labeled. But when we say UEFI or BIOS settings, it's kind of saying the same thing, CMOS settings.
Okay.
3 different ways to say it. And then we're going to go to Troubleshoot, right down here, Advanced, and then UEFI firmware. Firmware is BIOS.
Okay.
There's 4 different ways we can talk about it. Now, when we hit restart, we don't have to worry about pressing any particular keys and any particular timing.
It'll default.
It just goes right into the BIOS. And then when that power supply, by the way, is working fine. Our used power supply looks like we got a good one, along with all the cables that we need and screws. So that was, whoever returned it did a decent job, better than the last person. Although even then, the power supply was fine.
There you go.
Now we're going to go over here to, oh, where is it? There's our BIOS 1101. We're leaving XMP off until we know everything works.
Advanced mode.
Yeah, go to Advanced and Tool and Easy Flash Utility. I'll push Enter. And we're going to look on the drive. Oh, I was hopeful we'd see it. Wishful thinking. Oh, it's looking for a zip. This, I didn't have to unzip it.
Oh,
I forgot about that. So we're looking for a cap file. It's right there on the C drive. Now the C drive's not encrypted. If it were, when we do this, we better know our BitLocker key or we're going to be out of luck. And now we're updating. Yeah, I forgot. I don't have to unzip the files anymore with the latest ASUS boards.
Nice. Yeah.
I'd like to see all motherboard makers adopt that, because regular users, you know, they get really confused about that. What's a zip file? What do you mean I have to
extract?
Yeah, what does that even mean? And then explaining what a zip file is, etc. It's just all completely unnecessary if it will just use the zip file you downloaded. So kudos to ASUS for introducing that.
And of course, during this process, chat, no touchy. Don't turn your machine off.
You know, don't even mess with the keyboard or mouse. Just leave it alone. You've asked it to do something. Now get out of its way and let it do it. But man, this thing has room for a lot of storage. Remember, we've got 5 NVMe's in there. Plus, we can put 5. 5 is the magic number. 5 3.5-inch drives, and it looks like we could put, in addition to that, another 4 2.5-inch drives. So, I mean, if you wanted to turn this into a server, you could, although it's not really a server case. You could do it. All those fans are whisper quiet now. Now, part of these updates are required, well, not required, but highly suggested, recommended, because Intel, again, they adjusted some things on the chip. That there's 5 issues with the chip, but this fixes 3 of those issues. There's still 2 more issues to be addressed, and we expect those BIOS updates to be out next month. All right, so that's the BIOS update in place. Leave the machine alone. It still may be updating, and it may take a little longer to boot than normal, or it may not. Either way, just leave it alone. And you will see the screen post here in just a moment as it finishes processing.
Then will it go back to the BIOS again?
No, if everything's done.
That's just a one-time thing that you told it in advance,
it could, until the BIOS is done.
Okay.
Okay, so if the BIOS still has something, see? It's still updating. So it depends on the motherboard and it depends on the manufacturer and the features. This has a Thunderbolt firmware update. You see it just took a second. And we can hear the power supply switching off. That's a heavy duty relay in there. In any event, it may do this 3-4 times. It's normal, just leave it alone. If you had Windows installed, when it's done, it'll boot you back into Windows. If you didn't have Windows installed, when it's done, you'll get the error that you have no bootable device, or it'll just take you right back in the BIOS again. Either way, you'll know when it's done.
It's shut off again.
Yeah, no, it's just saying, we've got a whole new BIOS here. It wants us to load the factory default. And then we had set up RAID on this before, and we may have to set that up again. So we're going to say, press Y for Easy Flash. Use the zip file to update this message will reappear. Press Y to use easyflash.use. Press Y for Easy Flash and use the zip file to update the firmware. Okay, well we can do that. All that means is I have to go into my user folder under users and then under downloads. So under Mara's user account under downloads, that should be where that zip file is that we downloaded. Right there, that I did not need to extract. That's an RST driver. This is it right here. Let's see what it says. You're about to update your BIOS. Please ensure the ME version on your motherboard is updated. Well, it said it was going to do that. So I'm a little weirded out by that. What is it doing? Loading new ME firmware. So it did it automatically. That was a little misleading. So this should be automated in my opinion, but maybe because we didn't start with the zip file, it didn't know where this firmware was. It's apparently on its own. I don't know. Is it its own file or was it part of the main cap file? But this is yet a third item. So the Intel Management Engine, or ME, needs updating. The Intel Thunderbolt Thunderbolt firmware needed updating, and the main BIOS needed updating. And since that's all part of the motherboard, it's provided by the motherboard manufacturer. And as you can see, this BIOS process is a bit different than what we're accustomed to on cheaper motherboards, let's just say. When you start getting into these fancy boards, you need some fancy updates. More things need updated. And updates are good. That means they're improving the product. If you don't get updates, that means either the product can't be improved or they just don't want to spend any money developing it. So updates are always a welcome thing to see. And if you don't bother putting the updates on, you're not getting everything you paid for, as far as I'm concerned. So we are just about done. We're a little over time. We tend to go, I like to keep them at 2 hours, but this was a, given how complex this build was, it actually went together very fast. And it would have probably gone faster if I didn't pre-install the water block. That kind of confused things, it slowed things down. But on the other hand, because we did that, we were able to get Windows installed and we saved some time there, drivers and whatnot. So the power supply shroud can go back on. A little cable shroud that goes beside the motherboard will go back on. We've got the 3090 Ti to put in with power. And then a little cable management in the back, put the panels on and hand it off to Mara and say, good luck. One other thing I want to check is we might have lost our RAID configuration. It doesn't mean the data on the RAID. Let's just say we had a bunch of data on there. The data is still there. It's just the BIOS has to be, potentially has to be reminded or reconfigured that we have a RAID 0 array. And once we do that, everything that was on those drives, if there was anything on them, will go right back to normal. And that's another reason why you don't want to boot from a RAID drive. Make your RAID drive your data drive. Click. I don't know if people are hearing that on the microphone. Click.
And now you think it ought to boot right to Windows?
Well, yeah, that's our third time. It very rarely will go 4, but it's done when it's done. It's not for me to tell you. It will tell you, right? I can guess and I can say, well, usually, but I don't know what usually on this particular board. This is my first time using it. So let's see what it does. It says, before making any new adjustments, select F5 to load the factory default. Okay, so we'll hit F5. And if you're setting up or using RAID, configure your VMD options. So F4, F5. Is that why I couldn't get in the BIOS? Is my keyboard not working? F5. Why is F5? It's not doing nothing. F5. F1 to enter BIOS. Well, that worked. I think it means when you go in the BIOS, you hit F5. Now, if I hit F5, that's see, it's just the way it's phrased. We're going to reset the BIOS. And then we'll go to advanced again.
And our BIOS version is 1203.
Oh, yeah. Good thing we checked that. Thank you for reminding me. Advanced mode over here. And then we're going to go to, oh, I think it already sees the RAID.
Oh, does it?
I think so. Let's save it and exit and see what happens.
Okay.
We'll know if it's working. Save changes and reset versus save, discard and exit. All right, that's fine. See what happens. Fans rank up a little bit there as normal when a system's just initializing. And then as soon as it posts, those fans should quiet down to silence. I could do without the fan switch. I mean, I don't know why you'd have to.
Yeah.
If it's on auto, it'll go up to max on its own. Why would you want it on max all the time?
Yeah. I mean,
Cooling yourself down?
I could use another USB Type-C up there. Most of them only have the one, right?
Well, that's a USB 3.1 Type-C. And it's pretty rare to ever see two in late 2024. When people watch this video years from now, they might go, really? You didn't always have that?
Is that input data and video, or just data only? Or all USB Type-C is both?
I think USB Type-C will do, well, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, there's our spinny
Toilet bowl flushing. So again, because the RAID is our data drive,
God, that was fast.
it doesn't affect our system booting. So if I go to the yellow folder, Windows Explorer, let's see if we have a D drive. Still loading something. Oh, my wallpaper. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing to slow us down stupidly. All right, here we go. Do we have a D drive? We do. Is it 4 terabytes? It is. So the RAID was not lost. We didn't have to reconfigure anything.
Okay.
And just to make sure, the crystal disk mark. I'm wondering if the BIOS update's affecting our drive speeds, because we weren't getting the 14,000 out of the C drive that I was expecting. So just quickly, let me see if I get 14,000 here.
And the fans now went back to
they're
quiet.
silent.
Yeah.
Give me 14. It was only giving me 12 and a half. We're still at 12 and a half. So I don't know why I'm not getting the full 14 out of this. And then let me stop that, switch it over to the D drive, because that's our RAID array of Gen 4 drives.
Okay.
And
what do you get there?
I thought I saved it. I don't remember. Should be around 20. Yeah, we're a little bit low, but it's actually super fast. All right. I mean, that's still.
Yeah.
There may be a way for me to improve that, though. Seems like we got some headroom. Now, most people wouldn't even notice. I mean, it's milliseconds to go from 16 to 20, but people like to chase benchmarks, and I do want to make sure I give it my best shot, that I'm not missing anything. We can look in the device manager and make sure all of our drivers are loaded and everything's happy. And it is. And then we can also check, it said our Windows wasn't activated, right? So I'll go to SCD keys later tonight, and I'll buy a Windows 10 Pro. Windows 10 Pro license keys are cheaper, and those license keys can be used to activate Windows 11 Pro without the need of installing Windows 10. And then once it activates, it'll stay tied to that motherboard forever, and you never need to enter the code again. If I wanted to do a wipe and a reinstall of Windows 11 Pro, I would simply do it the way I've always shown you guys. Select I don't have a product key, select Windows 11 Pro during the installation, let it finish, connect to the internet, start downloading updates, and in that process, it'll recognize the serial number of the board and the product key I used, and automatically reassign and activate it without me even touching it, or even won't even tell me it did it. Just does it. Now, if you were using that product key on another board and it let you do it, it will deactivate any future activations with that product key on this board. It's only a one license product key and it's not intended to ever be moved. That's part of the reason why they sell them so cheap. You get them for $15 using the coupon code CARRY. The links are in the video description below the video, along with all the parts we've used, as well as discount codes for Acronis, the backup and cloning software I use, and the password manager RoboForm that I also use.
Me too.
They're all discounted for you guys. I need a cold Gatorade.
I could use a agua.
Agua? All right, Uncle Mitch, what do you think? Is that a keeper?
I like it. I'm really liking that 1,000-watt power supply. I must have one, Chad. Although my 750 is working like a charm. Unlike a lot of people, your Uncle Mitch, I blow out my computers every like January 5th and then June 5th. Thank you all.
You put it on a calendar or what?
Yeah. I just got in the habit of twice a year is where I
Anything significant about those days that stands out for you?
No, just, and I'm not, they don't hold, I just know sometime in January and sometime in June.
Oh, I got you.
Pull the machines, do the air duster.
All right, what do they got going on in the chat room? What have we been missing? I'm going to go all the way to the top, which doesn't take us back but maybe 15 or 20 minutes, but let's see what we've been missing. Peter gives us a €1 super chat. Peter joins us from the Netherlands. I think he's in Amsterdam. El Finesca says hello from Lake Tahoe. You ever been to Lake Tahoe?
I haven't. Somebody talked about driving the.
That you're going to go, yeah, I got a little place up there.
Yeah, a little pad there.
Little pad there, yeah. Craig Ferguson and Jeff. Yeah, I got a little place up there. What do you do over there?
Oh, go swimming, throw beads, and.
Yeah, if you don't watch Craig, well, if you used to not watch Craig Ferguson. Let's see. Mark Leibowitz, if you have two fans in the case and you install a third one that interferes with airflow, would that fan be in a fan in the middle attack? Dun-dun-dun. Yeah. Kinda. You got competition.
Oh, for a corny joke?
Yeah.
But I can't believe how quiet that is with all the panels off.
Well, especially as powerful as it is. Vaso said his sister lives in New Jersey and she owns 2 Chick-fil-A restaurants. I guess she's got Sundays off then, huh?
I usually hit that about once a week.
The liquor store?
That too.
Sorry, I was reading the chat.
After the Chick-fil-A. For my beer. Because you know I only drink alcohol on days that end in the letter Y. So.
That explains a lot. Bellark Advisor, this is from Thing One.
Okay.
Will tell you what software you have installed.
Oh, okay.
It's a free piece of software you can download.
And it will give
I forgot all I haven't heard about.
And it'll give me the registration codes and which is usually
Does
about
it?
10 digits long or so.
Maybe. Not sure. Colin Hannon said throw 4070 that old girl and you won't need a new computer till 2034. They're referring to your PC.
Yeah. And again, I asked Uncle Kerry, look, we could put a new NVMe drive, a C drive. We could put then the old NVMe in it. And I'm like, well, then why don't you set it up a dual boot? But then if he does that, I'm always going to go to the old drive, so I'll never get used to it.
You're going to have to update 2 computers with Windows updates and driver updates.
Right. So I'm like, yeah,
It might be entertaining the first few times. He's going to get old real quick.
Real fast. So I'm like, just change is good. Where are my steelies to roll? I'm not anxious. Dan wants to know my background. No Toto. Dan, I think 60 Toto shirts, and if you saw my office with the Toto posters, that's kind of even that. People come in and go, it's a little creepy, man. A little creepy, even though you
Stalker.
Even though you are their biggest fan.
Yeah, there was a documentary you were telling me about.
Yacht Rock Radio.
Yacht Rock
or
Radio.
Just Yacht Rock. Yeah.
They spelled documentary with a K, D-O-C-K. And
a lot of guys from Toto they interviewed.
Where did you watch that?
Christopher Cross.
It's not on Amazon Prime, is it Hulu?
I
Google
forget,
it.
yeah.
Or look on YouTube here for the trailer.
Yeah. Michael McDonald, a lot of interview with him, but Steve Lukather, David Paich, who wrote the words and lyric to Africa, which is Uncle Mitch's entrance music when he, with the touch tunes. I stand outside the bar, cue up Africa, because I'm always wearing a Toto shirt.
He has entrance music.
And then, it comes in and everyone, Mitch, so it's a little like Cheers with Norm.
Norm, what's shaking?
Yeah.
Two chins and a couple of cheeks.
Yeah. And some guys, think they're in the Twilight Zone. They're like, what are the odds of that? The song came on and a guy with
About
a Toto
100%.
And a guy with a Toto shirt. I'm like, yeah, inconceivable.
I want to go back through all the super chats. I don't know, I might have missed some. So let's start at the beginning. First with our friend Buster. Peter Laycock with 10 pounds, and then Planet Kraus with $2. Charlie Purdy with $10. Nick Caffrey with €5. Planet Kraus with $5. And again with $5. Planet Kraus said, I thought you were tall because of how many people look up to you for PC stuff. Those are the little people, though.
Yeah. The key word was look up.
Oh, I'm hilarious.
But buff.
And Peter VZ joining us there from the Netherlands. I think we caught it all. Now, if you have any final questions, comments, this is the time to ask, because we're going to wrap it up. We'll wrap it up in 8 minutes. It'll be 4 o'clock. It'll be a nice 3-hour broadcast. Quality of audio and video. It looks like the audio may be a little too high.
A little hot.
A little bit hot.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I'm using my best DJ voice.
5th caller.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't checked the phone the whole broadcast.
Oh.
I should probably do that while we're waiting.
Okay.
So what'll be done off camera? I'm going to put a video card in here, give it power, put the shrouds back on, put the cable cover back on. And just the cable management on this should be a breeze. Super easy. And I think that's it. I think at that point, the panels will go back on with the front. We can bring the big old helicopter out here. That's an old 10th gen, 10900K.
But don't you lift that alone. I mean, when you're
I couldn't if I wanted to. I mean, if it was empty, I could. But with all those parts in it.
But when you're ready, call me, even if it's not live.
Yeah, we'll disassemble it. We'll take the board out of it. We can keep everything else in there. We'll just take out the board and the cooler. And put a new modern board and cooler in there, along with, having to read the cable management. Sucks on that, by the way. That's the part I'm not looking forward to. And then I don't know where it'll go, but I'm sure I'll find a space somewhere. Or by then, Mara will have some time, hands-on time with this. And if she doesn't like it for any reason, don't I have the cover for the top, right there?
Like right there, yeah.
Right on the end.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Andy Kane says,
that back on
Kane says, Mitch, you were going to stop at 50 Toto shirts. I did, Andy, but I couldn't.
He did stop.
But I could. Does sweatshirts count? Yeah, they do. So
I think you have to pull it back about an inch and then do it. I see the hooks on the sides.
Oh.
I think they have to, it slides forward. You got it.
Yeah.
There's one less thing.
Well, I'd love to, Andy, I'd love to give you my word that I would stop at 60, but again, the boys are playing here, the summer tour. I'm seeing them in August, and if there's one or two designs that I don't have, my brother will say, add to the collection. Twist my arm, brother. Couldn't get front row, though, unfortunately, chat. Those were, you know, tied to very expensive seats, and so I did get 10th row center, so they may not see me like they normally do in Phoenix, where I'm sitting there in the front row and Lukather sees me. Behave yourself. Mitch from Phoenix, our biggest fan.
Our friend Peter Laycock Buster sends us a very generous Amazon gift card and a picture of himself there.
Ah,
And we're going to show everybody.
go on up and
It's nice to have a face to go with the name, and people that are regular viewers have seen Buster before.
there he is.
And there he is in 4K. Working the trains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mighty cold in Scotland.
Yeah, but they also have seasons and
Yeah.
culture.
People at the bar, Mitch, where are you off to next, Mr. World Traveler? And I said, I'm sick of going to countries where they don't speak English, so
Those darn
I'm
countries.
yeah,
they should be
so
American like the
I'm
rest of
talking Ireland and Scotland. So
We have a contribution from William Denton. Sends a $50 Amazon gift card, and he says that squirrel is so fake.
you like
We
them?
didn't
Yeah, no.
fool you.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. He says thank you. Merry
Yeah.
Christmas to you too. I think that catches us up, and I have so much content I have to make. I mean, I am so behind.
Oh.
I have a goal, and that is to push through every day that I can until and on Christmas Eve. So I think I'll make a video December 24th and 26th, but I'll force myself to take the 25th off.
Yeah.
Is what I'm thinking.
Nice football games on, and
That's true.
Yep.
And then we have the 26th through the 31st. I will broadcast. I don't know if I'm broadcasting on the 1st.
You and I have done a first, though.
I'm sure we have.
A January 1st show. I remember that. So
You want to come over here, Mara, and see how this? See it.
I mean, whisper quiet.
Everybody
even
can
with
see
the
Mara
parents.
right there. Stand
Even
right
with the
there.
pa- yeah.
Yeah.
Say hi, everybody. You're gonna be like you're gonna be like Wilson
Yeah.
on Home
Home
Improvement.
Alone. Yeah.
Home Alone.
No, Home Improvement. Yeah.
See now,
Hi, buddy.
now I look tall.
She wants that machine. So
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to these gentlemen.
Yeah.
I am finally going to be able to get my new
Let me
PC.
put this on max so you're
This
standing
is
there.
amazing, huh? I am.
I want you to feel the fans.
I'm Italian, so I
Yeah.
can't really tell you how I really feel because that's not appropriate. But I will say that this is making me drool.
Yeah.
how those fans working? I just put them on max.
Ooh.
Look at her hair's
Yeah.
blown
Look at
out.
how nice,
So
nice and flowy.
yeah,
Flowy.
Flowy.
quite a
They're
machine.
still getting
yeah,
faster.
Quite a machine.
You could
Yeah.
just put this on a little rotating thing. You wouldn't
Yeah.
need an oscillating fan inside.
Yeah.
But you see how long it takes for that to go from auto to max?
and the fact that you might be able to help
Yeah, see the
of
wheels?
because it
Yep.
does have wheels.
Yep.
So lift it up and roll it in there. But it's don't let them.
Unfortunately, I think this weighs more than I do.
Yeah, but don't let them lift that. Don't
I
let
think
them
it's
lift
more
that.
goth than you are too.
Yeah. Don't let him lift that
At least
helicopter.
today I've got pink
Yeah.
and pink and black on.
Do not let him lift that helicopter by himself. So
You've got pink eye? What did you just
Pink
say?
and black on.
Oh, pink and
on.
black on.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was like,
yeah. Turn up your hearing aid. Yeah. What
Turn up
need?
my- what time is it?
Hi, everybody.
I got a new
Yeah,
hearing
okay.
aid.
Can't really
What
see
kind
you.
is it?
Yeah. What do you want?
Is that better?
Yeah.
Hi.
What do you need here?
I'm gonna. So the power supply shroud can go back on,
Okay.
right? Because I think we're
Yeah.
done.
Okay.
But no, I don't
No.
want to put the power supply shroud on until I get the video
Right.
card. But I want the front panel back.
Okay.
So if you can figure out how to do that without dropping everything, that would be great. Okay. We'll just slap that right back on here right quick. Gotta go in there and then up. Slowly but surely, it's going back together. I like it when don't need any tools. The things have a nice positive snap to confirm that they're clicked in. Things aren't, rubbing or, difficult to pull one side off. That's how it should be. And I got to say, I think for the money, you're getting a lot of case for the money here.
Yeah.
I won't use any of the 2.5 or 3.5 inch storage. We've got a NAS, and she's got that extra RAID array down here, which is an extra 4 terabytes, plus the drive that we put in there. Isn't that a 4 terabyte? Or is that a 2? Because those drives are really expensive.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Let me go back to camera 2 and check. And I could look at our parts list, but properties 2. I got to see it full screen. Yeah, it's a 2.
It's a 2.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So, we could put an 8 terabyte Western Digital Gen 4, or she can have a 2 terabyte Gen 5 that runs twice the speed. Would you rather have twice the speed or twice the capacity?
Speed.
You'd rather have the speed?
Need for
That's
speed.
the way I feel.
Yeah.
2 terabytes is still a lot. Plus, she's got the 4 terabyte scratch drive.
Yep.
They're essentially the same speed back and forth. They essentially cost the same.
Yep.
Well, per terabyte. Anyway, food for thought, you guys. When you're buying stuff with storage, speed versus capacity. The higher the speed, the more expensive. The higher the capacity, the more expensive. And the higher the speed and capacity, twice as expensive.
Well, what do you say? Should we get out of here?
What's for dinner?
I don't know.
Mitch, you want wings?
Always.
I just had wings. Well, you know what? We got wings at a barbecue place, and they were outstanding. Didn't expect the wings.
When was the last time you had some pizza?
You know what? I don't remember.
Well, that's pretty long.
I've got little Totino's pizza rolls, but that's not pizza.
No, right.
They have these spicy hot ones they're like from the show Stranger Things.
Okay.
And they're like as spicy as a medium chicken wing. They're pretty hot. That prevents me from eating the whole bag. My mouth starts tingling. I'm like, okay, enough of that. Otherwise, I'd be 400 pounds. So that's my secret.
Okay.
Portion control. Eat stuff real spicy. It'll slow you down real quick. Oh man, pizza. You got me thinking about pizza. Mortant says wings for the win. Pizza and wings.
Yeah.
With a beer. What more could an American man want? Jim KJ3M would prefer capacity over speed. I think most of us agree that.
Yeah.
What did you say? Did you say speed over?
Yeah, I would want the
speed
yeah.
over capacity. I guess it depends on how it's being used and what the budget is. But essentially what I'm getting at is if you can buy a 4 terabyte Gen 4 drive for the same cost as a 2 terabyte Gen 5 that runs twice as fast.
Yeah.
How would you rather spend that money?
I guess when you put it that way, the storage, the extra 2 terabytes.
That's what,
Yeah, with a little less speed. I'll take the storage,
that's what I think.
Absolutely.
Because the speed difference between Gen 4 and Gen 5 looks great on benchmarks, but in reality, it's milliseconds.
Right.
Well, to each their own.
Yeah.
I put them in here just to demonstrate, to let you guys see what you're getting for your money. And if you see value in that, you have proper expectations of what you're buying. Otherwise, you're getting sold on numbers that you're seeing other content creators make that don't make any practical sense. Yeah, you can get those numbers, but then what? What difference does it make in your life? Probably not much, but it depends who you are. As I mentioned the other night, I was working on some of the other cameras we've got around here, configuring them for 4K. And once we get the studio picked back up, organized, hopefully we can get Mara holding the camera again for us for the handheld shots and in 4K. And it would be interesting to compare like Canon to Sony to Panasonic and see which ones look better.
Yep.
Unfortunately for Mara, all the cameras are heavy except for the one she was using. But even those shoot in 4K. I've got them all working now.
Nice.
But there's nowhere for her to walk in front of his desk. So we will work on that over the holiday. And then I'll probably take a break for a few days, I think. Once everybody has traveled and, you know, they've taken the kids to wherever, the park, and all the traveling, then when everybody's coming back from vacation and going back to work, that's when I think we need to go, and we can avoid all the crowds yeah. Well, I'll let you know as that develops. What's up?
Well, the plan was for us to head out on the.
Well, maybe. We're going to talk about that after the show.
Okay.
And one of the issues that I have that a lot of people don't realize is we have a lot of people, not a lot, we have a few people like to harass us. And if we tell you when we're leaving and where we're going, we'll have hotel rooms canceled.
Yeah.
We'll have, you know, trouble. So a lot of, for security, when you're a channel of my size, the downside is that there are people that find it entertaining to harass me. And so for that reason, I like to be a little bit vague and tell you about it after it happens, but kind of give you a general idea. Like, you know, if I'm not making videos for a few days, it's because I'm taking a break. But where I'm going, when I'm going, all of that stuff I now, you know, because of the world being the way it is. So when Mara came out and said, I thought we're leaving on the 1st, I'm like, well, maybe. Right? I don't need anybody to oh, he's not going to be home on that day. That's a good idea. There's a lot of computer stuff in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's why I try to be vague about that, but I can be more specific when I come back. But we do have
So you're going to go live tomorrow?
yeah, well, I think so.
Okay.
I have a video I need to make and then edit.
Okay.
Because I want to show everybody how to download and install Microsoft Office 2016, buy the key from SCD Keys, apply the discount. But when I do that, I've got to blur out all my private information and all the product keys. I can't do it live.
Right.
And then once I do that, I can upload it, and you guys can follow along step by step and see exactly how it's done. You're going to get Office right from Microsoft. You don't have to worry about a virus infected or fake Office installation. All you're doing is buying the product key and saving the 30% with the coupon code. And then I'll show you how to activate it after you've downloaded and installed it. I don't think it asks for the activation until afterwards, but I'll figure all that out when I make the video. And then when I do that, I probably won't have time to do a live video, but I will be making a video. That's what I'm trying to get at. So I am making a video this weekend, and whether or not I go live, I'm not sure. I'm definitely back live every Monday, as always, for the members at 1 o'clock Phoenix time. That's 12 p.m. California time, 3 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, we've got plenty of days to continue to hang out with each other before the big day. You got any big plans? Colorado.
No. My brother always invites me, but I told him, look, I'm all traveled out.
You're not coming.
Between South America and spending Thanksgiving week with him in Austin and driving a car back to Vail for him and back home, I'm kind of all traveled out. So I just Christmas Day, probably just not first thing in the morning, but noon maybe I'll take a ride out to Bartlett Lake, because it's a beautiful 2-lane road for about 23 miles.
Is a nice drive.
And it's just, there'll be no one on it. Not that I'm going to, go 80. I never do. But it's just the fact that there'll be nobody pulling a boat or motor homes in front of me that I got to pass. It'll just be beautiful, beautiful ride. So, And then sometimes guys, if I'm in town, where they tend to ride Christmas afternoon too. So who knows? But that's
that sounds lovely. Yeah, especially in this weather.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thanks for being members.
You guys have a safe and happy holidays.
Yeah, I guess we won't be seeing you between now and then.
No.
Well, Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll talk between now and then.
Yeah. Now, I did tell you that yesterday I went to the shopping mall, and I did sit on Santa's lap. And I said, Santa, what I want for Christmas, I don't think you can gift wrap. And he said, yeah, that's what Santa wants too. Too much?
I just picture all these little kids and then this one
tall, sitting on Santa's lap. Okay,
Um,
like Elf. So be safe.
Thank you
And,
again.
yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for hanging out with me.
Yeah,
Thanks for your help. I'm not done with you yet.
No. And I will tell you, Chad, I just think that bumblebee. You people, man, I don't like yellow. I just think it's
I think the motherboard needs to be black.
I just think it's the bee's knees. Get
It's
it?
the
How that
bee's
matches
knees.
it with a bumblebee? That was right off the cuff.
That
All right.
stings a little. All right. If you've missed any part of the build, if you're wondering, wait, did you put RAID in this or what did you do? You need to go back and watch the prior part. And you missed a lot because that whole thing was about setting up the RAID. I would encourage you to go back. In the video notes, we'll see part 1 and part 2 and part 3. I think we did that in part 3.
Okay.
And then you can see how we set that up. In the meantime, thanks to our friends at SCD Keys, Acronis, and RoboForm. Thanks, of course, to Mitch and to Mara. Mara does all of the administrative tasks and all of the. Oh, I had a word for it. She does a lot of things in the background that go pretty much uncredited, and that includes the thumbnails and the descriptions and everything we take for granted, like it just happens automatically. Titling and getting the stream set up. It's a lot of administrative type work. I'm not a fan of that. I'm a fan of doing the work, but I'm not a fan of like the paperwork. And thankfully she is, so that works out quite well. And I know she's anxious to get this, so I got a feeling this isn't going to sit too long.
No.
Like some other projects I've got around here. And then after she gets it installed and configured, after a while, we'll ask her to see how she likes it and whether or not she notices a big difference between the 10900K and the latest and greatest Ultra 9 285K.
Yeah.
What's that grin for?
Well, you're welcome. And I also just have to say that Mara also apparently made a pretty big mistake today. And again, to everybody watching, my apologies.
So the beginning of the stream, anytime we make a change, right, even when you're going from Windows 10 to Windows 11, you're going to catch yourself doing things out of habit. And you're saying, why doesn't this work? Oh, yeah, because I'm on Windows 11. So these kind of little mistakes, when we started today's stream, it was a small error. We're going to delete that original stream because it was only, 6 minutes long or something. We weren't able to broadcast in 4K based on the settings.
5 seconds.
7 minutes and 5 seconds. I'll see, she knows.
Okay.
But we weren't able to broadcast in 4K with closed captioning,
which
is why I put all this work into this. And I wasn't going to say, well, that's good enough. No, it wasn't. We had to. YouTube doesn't allow for us to convert that while we're live, so we had to create a whole new stream and start again. So if you joined us late, you missed out on that fun. But it's a simple little stupid thing. And then as we continue on forward, it creates new habits. And, making mistakes is fine. We just don't want to keep making the same mistake over and over. Then we have an issue. But
you want to reiterate that parts 1, 2, and 3 are all linked in the video.
Yeah, please do read the video descriptions because Mara spends a lot of time providing links that you guys, where'd you get the Lazy Susan? Where'd you get the keyboards? All of that is in the Amazon store. All the links are in the video notes. Thank you so much to our friend Buster and William Denton for your generosity today. And of course, to our friends Frankie B, Oystein, and Paul Gray for their super memberships, essentially, and their extraordinary support. And thanks to each and every one of you for just hanging out. For those of you that are members, you keep the show going, and we can't thank you enough. I will see you all again very, very soon. And until next time,
bye for now.
Just stealing all my words. All right.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
everyone.
Well, no, for him.
For
I'm coming
me.
back.
Right.
You won't see him for
right.
Bye-bye. And after that comment.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
And I need to find an outro.
Okay.
Glitchy Cube.
Okay.
All right.
I like it. See ya.